Great evening and welcome to my late chat show, Love and Relationship Friday.
Holy crap, what an intro was that? I was like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen. And then here we are. I hope you're not disappointing people. That was amazing, Jono. Well done.
Thank you very much.
You know, I really like it when I squeak.
Yes, the intro is good.
When I saw it on Wednesday, I was like, holy crap, it's like a movie.
Good. I was like, whoa, that's fantastic.
Great evening and lovely Friday the 13th.
Oh yes,
it's just like that.
Like behind me going to be something else going to come up probably tonight and jump.
We'll let you know if something does. So I'm going to turn off the mail so I don't get pop-ins. Hope everyone's having a lovely evening and welcome back to our late chat show for Love and Relationships. Back with Dilara, Titek, and Iklok.
Hello, evening. Good evening, everyone.
Bro, that background, it's really, just move it a little bit. I can see all your pink stuff behind that.
All the pink stuff.
Well, that's as far as it stretches, unfortunately. So, you know,
that side might be safer.
That's just my printer with all the other stuff at the bottom. I'm gonna have to find an alternative later on, and maybe, yes.
He needs to purchase a bigger background.
Yes, I do. I'm thinking of just getting one of those like huge banners that just spread A4.
Well, that could be an idea. Why not?
Oh, God. So, what are we talking about today? What's the theme tonight?
Well, you said self-worth from last week, right? I mean,
I was just giving options, you know. I was just making sure that we got enough options to talk about, you know, just writing some stuff down.
Maybe I'll list them and see what people are thinking and what people are interested in listening to, which they want to talk about, or what rings true.
Did anyone have any questions that they asked? Fill in the form.
No, I didn't see any questions pop through. So no one's being curious enough to pop questions. But maybe we get some questions through tonight on the live chat. Cool. Great evening as well.
Well, maybe we can ask the audience what they really want to talk about, you know, and we just make it up from there and let it flow.
Well, I've got a few here.
What would you like to talk about, sis?
Like when you were talking about self-worth, and I was thinking like you both talking about worth belief.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a concept that it's not a concept that a lot of people talk about. I never heard of it before until I heard it from you guys. So
well, X just disappeared his screen, so
he just asked me like, what is it you want? And I told him what he wants. He just left. Like that's a no then, huh?
It's like, nope, don't want to hear back from you. I asked the question, but don't want to hear back.
All right, I'll back off. Hi, Taz.
Great evening, Taz. Welcome to our late chat show. Well, I guess Ick didn't want to talk about self-worth since he left.
Self-worth, like you guys talk about worth belief, right?
We could talk about self-worth. I mean, that's already there he is.
There we go. Now
you asked Dilara the question and then you buggered off.
Well, I didn't ask her a question. You asked me a question.
Was that your new way of saying no, bro? Like when you say no, you just like cut off and just walk away.
Just leave. Just disappear for a while and say, "What was that? What did you say?"
Can you imagine like somebody does that on a date? Like you just ask a question when they don't like it, they walk away.
Yeah, and then they're like, excuse me, I just need to pop to the fence.
I just sit there, I go like, that's a no then. That's all right, I'll have another drink for myself. He's gone.
Oh gosh.
That's one way of handling things.
Well,
Well, why? I mean, why did I talk? Why did I say we could talk about self-worth? There had to be a reason that led to it. Because I can't remember why. I know it's a good topic to talk about. But
Did we talk-
self-worth. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Was it something we talked about with Kirsty?
Um,
And then worth came up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, self-worth in itself is a big topic we could talk about, and we could come from all kind of direction. But I just want to make sure that it's going in a direction that the audience wants to, go towards, right? Because it is a belief, but because I think a lot of people can't differentiate the difference between self-worth and self-esteem. They're very, very different. Similar but very different.
Well, last week was respect and love. Respect? More about respect, wasn't it?
Yeah, last week's.
You froze. Last week, and then you froze.
Oh, that's strange. No, I just said that last week it just happened to revolve itself around respect as we were talking. So, So maybe Taz would like us to talk about a particular topic. Maybe there is one particular topic I want to touch upon later on tonight. If Delara wants to go there, and that's conscious dating. It's quite a buzzword these days, and
that's a trendy word. That is.
Can I just say when I start to talk about conscious dating, conscious relationships, all that, nobody was talking about it. Now everybody is talking about it. So can I allow my ego to come up?
Of course you can. If anyone asks where did the word
credit for it?
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone asks me like where did the terminology conscious dating come from, I said Delara Texan made it up. She was the original founder of that terminology. It's TM. It's DTTM.
I don't know if I invented it, but for sure that's what. I was the first person I would say in the UK.
No, you were definitely the first person I heard it from anyway. That was during 2015 towards 2016.
Yeah.
No one wanted to know.
Yeah.
No one wanted to know.
Exactly.
But now everyone wants.
Shit. Yeah, exactly.
Now everyone wants to know. How about conscious dating then, people? What do you think?
Well, I'm just saying we could talk about that later on or touch upon it,
we'll move on to conscious dating. I mean, that's a
I mean, because tonight, I mean, it really depends what the audience wants us to talk about. We could talk about dating, we could talk about relationships, we could talk about resolving conflicts, we could talk about
Pete
marriage.
Sloth.
We can even talk about sloths.
We could talk about Pete Sloth.
Where is my sloth? I should really get it. Sorry, I don't expect you to do it. I know that's on me. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't say long time no see Pete because I just saw him about an hour ago. So.
Well, I've not seen you for a long time, Pete. How you doing, bro? Loving you.
What up? We good. How are you guys? We love these slots. I love them. I think it's genius, isn't it?
I like
them. I must say, I love.
Let's talk about sloppies.
I love Pete and Jamie's house. That must be the coolest house that I've ever seen in my life. Where when was it? I can't remember. Was it Pete or was it Jamie? When they arranged this like a sloth ceremony, I was like, I swear in my life that I never want to be somewhere else more than like this. It was all these slots and there's a ceremony. I think it was Pete was coming in, recording it, coming in the house. All the lights were dimmed out.
I think Pete set up.
Slots were around, and I was like, these two, they have the coolest house I've ever seen.
I must say that
Jamie is here too. Awesome. Great to see you both.
awesome, lovely to have you on board, Jamie. It's been a while. I must say that Pete and Jamie are two very adorable couples. They're
They
one
really
of the.
are.
They are. You guys are adorable.
I think
man.
they're a family, right? Jamie, Pete, and the slots, and the baby slots.
The thing is, you should see their office. Their office is amazing.
Oh, but it is like whatever. What I can't talk. What I seen from Pete's Insta stories, and I was like, I swear, like if I ever get haunted, I want to be in this house. Like any party that I want to be invited. I was like, it's their house.
Oh God. Well, Jamie, if you ever do a Christmas party with sluffies around, whether I get an invite or not, I'm gonna gate crash. Just so you know.
I'll fly out from here just for the slots. And I just want to hold their hands, like when they do that circle. I just want to sit there, hold the slots' hands. Just want to be part of the team. So adorable. Yeah, it's genius what they have.
So, people that don't know Jamie and Pete, they're like a power couple, and they are awesome.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and they're so much fun as well. I love it. How just make it so creative and cool.
Yeah. So what would Jamie and Pete love us to talk about today? Maybe you two can start us off with a topic that you would really like us to get into.
Oh, I would love them too, Pete. Thank you.
They love working relationships. That's a good one, isn't it?
Well, I guess that this was one thing that we had an interview with you, right, Jono? Was how to be in a relationship, like being an entrepreneur at the same time. So I think it's like that's what Pete and Jamie are quite successfully doing that, working together, living together, like running a business together. It's quite hard actually. It just puts a lot of challenge.
It's definitely
maybe
hard.
they can join and then they can give us tips.
Yeah.
Pete, Jamie, would you like to come on to the live as a guest now? I'll drop you a link. Let me know.
Would you like to join us as guest speakers?
Now, what about being a boss couple? Yeah, why not? You guys can talk about that, and then we can learn from you guys too.
Let me know if you want to join. I'll drop you a PM with the link to join us, Pete and Jamie, or Pete or Jamie, or you both just jump on one computer.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say this, from personal first-hand experience, I've tried the boss couple lifestyle, the work and living together, working together kind of relationship, and it didn't work out for me. It was just, you're right, sis. It's so hard. So I really do respect people who can do it.
Yeah, I agree, Jamie. Like, we can do topless. We don't mind.
I mean, Pete's clear enough anyway, so it makes a difference.
He's okay with that, as long as you're okay with that.
Well, it's not like we've not seen Magic Mike. It's like, we can see some Magic Pete too.
Well, it's a late chat show, so anything goes.
Late night chat show, so it's definitely over 18 only. So
exactly. No, it's really cool to.
Oh, Kim is here as well. Kim.
Say hello, Kim. Hey, Kim and Kofi. How are you guys doing?
Hey, they're such an awesome couple as well.
She says it's so hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt, those two are.
Hey, Michael.
Michael's here.
Hey,
Michael's in the house.
Oh, he's early tonight. It's awesome. Let me cover my bit. Just cover them, Pete. There might be some kids might be watching. We don't want.
All right, Pete. I'll drop you a link to jump on with us.
What you said, like it's the same thing. Like as you both know, like mine didn't work either. But for me, like in my experience, one thing that I learned, that to be successful, couples, like both sides genuinely should want each other's success.
Yeah.
Regardless they are involved, they're part of that or not. Like in my relationship, at least, that there was a competition, there was jealousy, so for me that was just like throw it out. So I didn't feel like it was a team. It was like competition, and like for me at least, like where I'm at, that's what it's the key.
Yeah.
Like really have each other's back, like be real teammates. It's like when you lose, I lose. When you win, we win.
Yeah.
So Jamie's asking for the link, Jono.
I was.
Oh,
I had
good.
them.
We're gonna get Pete and Jamie on board. We're gonna have a power couple. talk
Yay!
tonight.
That's gonna be
power
awesome.
couple in the house. This is the
So
awesome.
tonight's theme, we're gonna be talking about work and relationship, how it can be
Yeah.
done. That'll be awesome.
Exactly.
This
With
would be a good
Pete's
one.
words, I think you said being a boss couple. I think that would be great because that's quite popular, right? I see so many like posts like power couple, like boss couple and things like that. I think it's
Yeah.
great that rather than just we talking, actually we hear it from a couple. This
Yeah.
is great. I love it. I love tonight already.
There we are.
I'm gonna take
Power
my
couple.
pen and paper as well. I'll be learning from that too.
I hope Jamie and Pete both got some red wine as well to join us.
We'll see. We'll see.
Oh, God.
We love you too, Kim.
Much love to you, Kim. We haven't seen you. We need to catch up with Kim and Kofi at one point as well. They should
Kim,
come.
how's your little child doing?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
he walking and messing around yet?
Probably in bed now. That's why potentially like she can be online.
Yeah, true,
Not that
true.
I would know, but I'm just assuming. But like going back to like before Jamie and Pete joined. Like,
There we are.
Oh, you get. I shut up then.
Okay, I'll bring them on.
Ah,
Hey, Jamie.
am I on?
You are
You're
on.
on. Hello,
Oh, wait, let me put the
gorgeous.
volume up.
Hey,
Hello.
who's in the background?
Hello.
Hold on one moment. I need some light on my face.
You're fine.
Right, Jamie.
Hi,
Jamie.
Hello. Hello. Hi,
Yeah,
baby.
we can just talk to the sluffies, you know.
Oh, it's a party! I'm telling you, man. I love this.
They have probably like 50 or 100 in there.
Honestly, if I ever just get, what they call it, a kidnap, I want to be sent there.
You need to take a whole carload.
Okay.
Oh, who's that?
Oh, that one's got an afro.
Well,
He's the stylish one.
I really like. Oh, that's got a character, doesn't he?
he's the drag.
Oh,
I'm just getting comfy with my drag stuff. He's the drag.
Ah, he's the dragon.
what is this?
I made him an outfit out of duct tape.
Like, you must be the most creative woman like in the world. Like, just the stuff you do is unbelievable.
Thanks for having us on. We were
Oh,
just,
it's a pleasure.
Joining.
It's an absolute pleasure.
we just came off a little USA show with our 30-day program members.
Uh-huh.
I was
And,
aware. I was on there until I had to
Come
prepare for this show.
hither. Come hither. He's shy.
I'm really shy.
It's okay, you can be topless, bro.
Come on, Linda. I want you to put some clothes on.
I'm dressed.
Nah, you can show us your pack, man.
Hey!
That's how you do it. Look at this. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going, guys? You good? I think.
Yeah, we good. How are you?
Very, very good.
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Yeah, we're
Ah,
Wait.
I like your theme.
no, it's like since we caught up, we're catching up right now. Like, just give
Yeah.
it 30 seconds. We'll catch up.
Perfect
Yes, how's
timing.
it going?
Perfect timing.
Life is good.
Ah, it's good to see you, bro.
Good to see you all. Thanks.
My hair's so
Thanks for having
fluffy.
us.
It's
No,
fine.
it's a pleasure
You
to have
both
both
look
of you.
great. You both look great. They look so paranoid now.
Delara, I really like that your bookshelf is color coordinated. Ours
Oh,
is a bit messy right now, but let me show you ours. It's also color. Oh, wait, a bit messy. It's a
Coordinated.
bit
I
color
love
coordinated.
it. I love it. I just want to take a screenshot. Sorry, when I see books, I feel like I want to take a screenshot just to get all the photos.
Why don't you just get Jamie to take a photo of it and send it to you?
Yeah, I love that. Amazing.
How do you
Wow.
find the books
Well,
you
it was
find?
It's
Well,
fun.
you're the one that taught me to color coordinate books.
Well,
Because
I always
used
put them
to,
in I always put them in business. You know, when you go to Waterstones, you've got business, you've got personal development, you've got psychology.
Yeah, that's how I do
philosophy.
it.
Now I need to remember what color a book is.
Exactly. It's
I
like
would make a shit
It's
librarian.
It doesn't take long. You'll get used to it. It doesn't take long.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of people say to me, like, how do you find it? I'm like, I know exactly where everything is now. Like, if you say it, it would take me like a couple of seconds. You get used to it.
I'm just like, oh, that book's red. Okay, the deal. Let's go with that.
But imagine if we were librarians, we'll make really shit librarians. Imagine be like, oh, where's I don't know,
I
whatever.
don't know if you can swear on this show.
Oh, sorry.
It's a late chat show.
you can. It's a late night chat show, over 18s
Oh,
only.
sorry, I can't take her anywhere.
Imagine
Like,
where's
I
Shakespeare?
swear
And then,
a lot.
then we'd be like, what colour is it again?
I know. So,
No,
Lara,
sorry. You guys totally can swear. I did swear a lot, haven't I?
Oh,
Sorry,
that's good.
Jono, was I not supposed to? I'm so sorry.
I do it anyway, regardless. So don't worry.
this is so cool. You've got like the late chat show, love and relationships. Do you have any love or relationship challenges, questions that you would like to chat about? Get involved in the chat discussion. Drop us a DM if you. This is really cool. I like it.
Sorry, Pete. It's not as advanced as your sloppy adduction on the live.
Did you see that this morning?
This is as flashy I can make it.
Can you share? Jono, what happened?
So Pete got abducted by sloths this morning on a Facebook Live,
Did he?
and he got abducted into the alien spaceship or the sloth ship
In the middle of a live.
in the middle of a live.
You
It's
two
never-
living the life, like, honestly, like, I'm just like, not jealous, but I'm so envious.
Oh,
Oh,
You
thank
just
you.
have a
Doing
house,
nothing.
honestly.
We're hashtag blessed. No, but just we're trying to have fun. Trying to have fun, doing what we do.
if it
Helping each
wasn't
other
for
out.
these guys,
Yeah, it's
it
crazy.
would be really different. Like they really softened the message of sales.
Yeah, it's funny because sales is one of those necessary evils, right, for everybody. Everybody knows that they need it.
Yeah.
But as we know, when it comes to sales, you don't sell to a need, you sell to a want. And so having a very direct message of sales, which I've done over the years, and then when Slothy came along, I can say what I want because Slothy softens that whole message, and people get so distracted and fall in love with Slothy, and they don't even realize that they're learning sales. And they're like, oh my goodness, I've just learned all these things about sales, and now I'm actually making more sales in my business. Now I understand. But you know, the amount of people that message me, I won't say the amount of people, there's people that have messaged me, and it's probably one of the most common messages I get when people say, I really like what you do, but I don't get the sloth. And I'm like, but you're messaging me. And they're like, yeah, but I don't get the sloth. And I'm like, but you're messaging me
Exactly.
about the sloth. So clearly it works.
Yeah, exactly.
No doubt about it.
That's true.
No doubt about it. And it's really different as well. I think that like these days, I love one of my favorite books, and you no doubt you guys know that, Seth Godin's Purple Cow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very well,
talking about, this probably better than anybody, Pete, because that's what you do. Like, the example that if anybody doesn't know is basically when he's driving, I think he's in Spain or something, he's in the car, and he looks like when he's driving, like he see all these cows, and first like how it gets exciting. It's like, oh my God, there's a cows here. Like, it's amazing. He says after that, you don't really notice it, like if cows there or not, because you just get used to it. He said, but then if you see a purple cow, like, it's like it so stands out there, you will never be able to forget, and that's the whole context of it. And I think sloths, like, it's really kind of like the same thing for me. Like, I've never seen it anywhere else, and I really do think Jake, like, I don't know who was that genius, but I think all that, the stories and stuff is like, I don't normally get excited about sales. I'm not gonna lie, I just get so bored. It's normal. It's like this. But when I see the sloths, and I was like, oh my God, there's a sloth party, like, it's like they're holding hands, and I'm like, let me be part of it. And I totally, if I was in London, I would just come. I wouldn't care. I would pay for it just to be with the sloths. Whatever you got to do, it's working.
We had, by the way, we've moved out to the countryside now. We're in the middle of a field, but we.
Sorry, I was going to yodel.
We moved out of London. We're now in Norwich. So our office is in Norwich. But yeah, it's really nice. So as an example, today we had loads of because we've got like over 500 people on this program and this 30 days sales transformation right now. And so I got abducted by sloths, but it was all done live, and we had tons of messages coming in saying, how how did you do? What software did you use? Because I literally got abducted up into a Slothy spaceship, and then the Slothies took over and they ran the whole morning live. And everyone's like, how do you do that? And I'm like, no, it really happened. I actually got abducted by I'll send it to you guys. Or Jamie, send it to. Do you mind sending it to them now? Have you got a screen recording? Send it to Lara and Ick so they can see. I've got a screen recording. I can message you. 1 second. So I'm a really good multitasker. Give me a moment here.
That is awesome.
He can play it. We can all see it.
Okay, I'll play it on here. Let me find it on the group.
Can you play it, Jono?
Yeah, I'll
just
find
play
it.
the bit where I get abducted. But just while Jono's doing that, what's really nice is that we had at least 20 people in the group. At least they either messaged or they actually did a video of their kids watching me be abducted by sloths, and they're like, thanks so much. Like, my kids loved this before. The amount of our members and also our community that tune in with their kids now because they love the Slothies every morning, because that's just part of what we do. With Facebook, it's like mostly like, okay, just Facebook Live, just gonna wait for some people to join. Let's wait here. Yeah. How's your day? Cool. That's where it all came from. Like, I remember this is the first time it happened. I didn't want to do that, so I just had Slothy near me in the room, and I grabbed him, and I was like, I just started dancing with him, and he started dancing to like music. And that was it. Slothy was born, and ever since then, like, there's always some kind of Slothy, and it's got more and more extreme.
He's advanced.
Yeah, I think Jono's putting it up now. Is Jono going to do? You're doing a screen share?
You carry on. I'll find it.
Yeah, it's there. It's there. Let's go videos.
It's in the unit section.
I'm on it.
Okay, look at Jono. He's working away. He's like,
yeah, you carry on.
Got this. So yeah, the Slothies have been a lot of fun.
That's amazing. Well, actually, Jono is looking for that. I think, like, I'm so glad that you guys are actually here tonight, and I'm just super excited that you're both here, because there's a question as well straight away coming from Kim, and it's like, I have the same question. As much as I do this for work, I have to put my hands up. Like, my relationship didn't work. Like, I couldn't have a relationship with somebody doing the same thing that I do, living together, working together. Obviously, like, this is a two-way street. So in the relationships, like, I can do my part of it. I can't do someone else's part of it. But you two have been doing that in such a way that, and also, like, if I can give it like objective feedback, I know Pete, not like know him that well, but I kind of know of him like much longer than Jamie. But I can see that, like, Jamie kind of brought up the playful, chilled, creative side of Pete. And I really kind of like feel like I can see Pete like who he is more than like it was before, which is amazing, because it just shows that, how great that relationship works, because you brought up somebody else, like something that they had it before. Maybe they haven't even tapped into it. And there's a lot of relationship, like couples that are struggling with that. Like I said, I did struggle. For me, like, it just didn't work. And I'm not sure if I would, like, I like, in this show, we're so honest. Like, I don't have an ego when it comes to it, but I don't know if I would ever have a relationship with somebody who does what I do. It's because of that experience. So you two do this like really well, probably better than anyone we have seen for a long time, kind of like bringing the best out of each other, and then yeah, you can tell, like, with some of the things that is for social media, but it's not like that with you guys, because I think because I've seen P much earlier before, and I know that's real, like what the part of coming out of him now. Oh, there you go. Sorry.
Sorry,
okay.
guys.
Hold that thought, we're talking. Yeah. Look, this is so cool.
Can you hear this?
The regular dance that I do, right?
Should I skip into the middle?
Skip about the first 90 seconds, just to be dancing around with Slothy in the office.
90 seconds, 3 minutes. Yeah. No,
a bit more. Yeah, like to 2 minutes. Here, yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Right there. But go play back like 10 seconds, so you know it's like natural, like it's like a proper normal live that I do. demanding.
Here we are.
Perfect.
I'm
On the
good. On the swing.
What's going on? It's Friday, by the way. No accountability for tomorrow, but we have. This is very important. We've got our ultimate sales transformation show tonight, which is going to be mega. It's going to be epic. So that's one of the reasons why I'm in the office. I'm getting set up, ready for that to go. Oh, guys, hold on a second. I'm so sorry. Hold on, guys, please give me a moment here. What the? Oh my goodness. Oh, guys, I've got to show you this. This is, I don't know if this is good or not. Please don't worry. Please do not worry. But something's happening here. And, oh my God. Okay, guys, have a look. What the? What these guys? How? What do you want? Guys, these stuffies, they weren't here. They're in my head. They say that I'm their leader. Guys, listen, please help me.
Oh shit.
We require the Lord of Sloppy Pete. He is on the Sloppy. Ultimate sales transformation. Business owners, Sloppy maestros. This is Lord Sloppy here. We have your leader because your leader is our leader. So if your leader is our leader, that means that we are going to take him. We are right now circulating planet Earth. What is going on in 2021?
And then Sloppy takes over for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is hilarious.
All right.
Wow. That was amazing. Well done. Well done. That was great. That was very creative. Very creative.
That was amazing. That was just awesome. I feel like.
We're really lucky because we have, now we have this amazing team of creatives. They're all graduates. With graduates in these like creative type degrees.
Yeah, like graphics, video editing, and
so it's a whole
stuff like that.
There's a team of like 5 or 6 of us now, and so the ideas just can flow, and that makes such a difference. And we've always tried to have the element of entertainment behind what we do, because this is the thing. Is like I say this to our members, or like Jono, you're a member yourself. Say it's not just about content; it's about how you frame it, how you bring the entertainment value to what you do, and what feels right for you. Like when it's not authentic, when someone's trying to. So we just have fun with it now. And but yeah, I had so many. I'm not kidding. Probably 50 messages from people who are on that live this morning going, "How did you do that on a live? I've never seen that before." And I'm like, "Slothy magic," So it's just that's the cool things.
Yeah,
and
that's
people
like 350 comments anyway. That's have loads of comments there.
Yeah, it's fun. It was a lot of fun. So that was this morning, but we're always pushing the boat out further, just seeing what we can do. We've had all sorts over the last few months. We had a
Slothy Titanic and stuff.
Slothy Titanic. We've had Slothy Batman. We had a whole Slomby apocalypse, where it was the whole thing played out. Yeah, I mean, it's just about connecting with people really in a way that meeting them where, because again, I just think that everything's so saturated now. And like you say, Lara, that, the Purple Cow, right? Is it Purple Cow? It's such an old book, but it's still so relevant today. And I do remember reading that in 2003 or something, before social media. And think how relevant that book was in 2003, but how it's much more needed now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so right, because it's everything seems like copy and paste. So totally, you guys doing that amazing.
And that's one of the things that we've always done. Not that we've got everything right by any means. We're definitely far from perfect. All I would say is that I've always I look at kind of everything that's happening, and then I'm like, okay, how do we go to the other extreme of that? So, for example, right now we're doing basically a full 30 days ultimate sales transformation, which is completely free. I actually had the idea on this sofa last Sunday, and then just put it out to the world, and then we had over 500 people enroll within a few days. Because right now in the marketplace, everyone's doing, and there's nothing wrong with it, but everyone's doing very short programs like 5-day challenges, blah blah blah, and it's just so that saturates the market very quickly. And so you look at the other end of the spectrum and say, well, why don't we just generally help people for 30 days? And it's really is that, just generally help for free, give them everything they need to succeed. And those people that some will want to continue, and that's great. And for others, they'll get an amazing experience, and that's great too. And being okay with both. So that's pretty much how we're rolling these days, right?
Yeah.
But we haven't got it all right by any means.
Man, it's great. So far, it will only going to get better and better, isn't it?
Yeah.
No doubt you guys doing much different than anybody else. I have no interest in sales, but I have so much interest in slots. I.e., like, obviously, I'm interested in sales now.
Yeah, that's the idea. It softens the whole message. But yeah, we just have fun with it, help people out, and what else can you ask for, really? So, and then the nice thing is we get to work together on it as well. And like, especially since we've had the team, you're like boss lady. I don't even go near the team. I'm not allowed in the office. It's funny because we moved out to the countryside, and I was like, I think we need an office because we're literally in a barn in the middle of the field, and we were like, straight away, let's get an office in the city, so we did, and of course the next step was having a team, which we've needed for over a year, but we've just held back. I read in a book called Rework, which is a really good book. Every page is like a tip. It's called a book called Rework, and basically one of the tips in there is wait until you are like screaming and overworked before you recruit someone. And everybody is like, I used the term loosely, but a lot of business mentors like outsource, delegate, but we pretty much did everything. And I think that's been really important. We did everything ourselves for years and pulled how many all-nighters to get things done.
Yeah, I think I was a bit of an octopus trying to do a lot of jobs. Then it's been such a big help having the team, definitely. It's getting us a lot more time together as well.
And it's really nice because like Jamie now, like you manage the team day to day. We don't need to manage them, but you're like, they see you. Like when the team came in, even though I held the interviews, I was like, I'm not going to be your manager. Like Jamie is your go-to. Like go to her for everything. And I actually have a small office next door to my main office, and I work from there. Or when it's not locked down, I go out to a coffee shop. So it's so funny because we got the office for me to work from, and now the team work from there. And
you still go to Starbucks?
I still go to Aroma Coffee or whatever it's called. So but it's nice, because you're able to step into your power, so to speak, and we're able to do this as a team, which is a blessing, really.
So I'd like to kick this off with the question that Kim asked. So before you guys moved into the office and before you guys got a team, so you mentioned that you did everything yourself, right? So so Kim has a relevant question that all of us want answers for, and that is, what tips would you give to couples who work together and live together, like exactly what you two did before you even got a team? And how can you make it successful as possible with minimum arguments and disagreements? So now obviously you don't have to tell us everything, but like did arguments ever happen? And when it did,
no, there's no filters here. You have to tell everything, right?
Right? But we're gonna assume that obviously in every relationship there's gonna be arguments and stuff like that. But how did you get over it? And how did you how did you guys power through it as couples?
I lock him in the cupboard or the toilet. Get on with things, and I keep the key. Well,
so we'd have to lock him in the cupboards.
This is really intriguing. We've never been interviewed as a couple about this. This is actually, I'm interested to hear what you'll say.
Yeah, well, I think what's really important is, I think in the past I could really work for ages and keep going, but then you would be like, okay, now switch off. Let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. I think you have to really separate your boyfriend and girlfriend and like
I'd be like strict about it.
yeah, you'd be like,
Poof,
"Can
laptop
you-
closed.
okay, you
Pete and
close
Jamie
my
time.
laptop, okay, Pete and Jamie time, because I could really work like
Non-stop.
until non-stop.
Mm.
It's like, okay, let's watch whatever, or let's go for a walk, or let's do this. And I think like there was one day where I was like really stressed. I was like, no, I've got loads of things to do on my list. He was like,
Right.
no, I've got an idea. Let's go to Brighton. I was like, what? No. We
The
drove to
world's longest to-do list ever.
yeah.
That day.
But then by going to Brighton, we came up with the best you came up with the best idea of doing the 100 Club where we
Well, I came up with that in Thailand, but it manifested in Brighton.
manifested in
It
Brighton.
actually, like, we were like, okay, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so true. Like, so I guess like what I would say on it is the first thing I'll say is like, you can't build something if you argue over dishes. And I think, you know, when me and Jamie first got together, I found myself apologizing loads because Jamie's like automatically in like cleanup mode, and that's just who she is. Like, you know, just your kind of, I guess, your culture and all that background. And I would always be like, I'm really sorry, do you need help with the dishes? And you were like, no, it's fine. Because I'd always been in like really transactional relationships where it's like, I cooked last night, so it's your turn to cook.
You count these tabs.
And it was just, yeah, that's exactly it. It was like,
well, Jono, you know, I think Chinese people always say you don't count every little details and stuff.
We don't count things, duties.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have like, it's not like I washed up last night, so now it's your turn to cook. We don't do any of that. It's just like, no, just bloody wash up and bloody cook. Whoever's got the time to do it, you do it.
Wait, that woman does it. Like, is it like that?
No.
So whoever does it, okay, so whoever does it, like, does it and finishes it. Is that right?
No, we just both
you don't
know.
discuss about it. You
It's
just
not even a
do
conversation.
it. Yeah, like you're Pete's the breakfast guy. Like he does the juices, the veggie fry ups. He does
Made a killer fry
lemon water for me in the morning, like breakfast in bed. He like every morning puts it next to the bed. Lemon water. Okay, here's your juice.
Let's unpick all of. I've never really thought about. This is so interesting because I've never really stopped and thought about why it works until right now. So it's quite an interesting question. Sorry.
Well, Jamie's a night owl, so morning wouldn't work for him, right?
Well, that's actually, if you want to,
yeah.
One of the, I guess, challenges we've had has been on different sleep patterns. But now Jamie goes to bed same time as me, and that's really important. And I didn't realize that's a really strong value for me because it would stress me out.
That's true.
And to a point where I couldn't sleep, and I'd be getting up at 3 a.m. and be like, can you come to bed because I can't sleep? And it sounds selfish, but actually it was this deeper ingrained value within me that I had no idea was even there. And then I know what Jamie's driven by as a value. Like, you're driven by the fact of like making sure other people are okay. And so instead of trying to sell the benefits of like sleeping earlier, I would say, I need you to come to bed. Like I need you to come to bed at the same time as me, because otherwise I'm out of whack for tomorrow. Because I wake up at 5 or 6.
Yeah, it affects you.
Yeah, and it affects me massively if I don't get my sleep. So as soon as I kind of sold it that actually I need it, and I was happy to do that, you've been on the same sleep pattern as me for months. And the nice thing is now is that, like, last night you had a bit of you're like, oh, I want a night owl night. And I'm like, cool, it's your time. Enjoy it. And it was like a treat. So I actually had a really nice, so like now it's not every night and this constant addiction to work as well. So that's definitely been really important, isn't it?
Yeah, I've definitely cut down. Like, don't really do late night owl nights anymore.
Yeah, go to bed at the same time as your partner is a big one. Like,
well, your mum, because Pete was like telling me that his parents, they're like couple goals. Like, they call each other babe, and they're like 70 years old, and they're like, they're like,
oh, that's so cute.
Like all the time, and every time like, hey, babe, what do you want? Oh yes, babe, it's really cute. And then Pete's like, the one I remember they said to us that we never ever, what did they say again?
They always go to bed at the same time.
They always go to bed at the same time. Like
50-year anniversary of January.
Yeah, always.
Wow,
that's tip number 1, guys. Write that down. Always go to bed at the same time.
Yeah, I think you told me that. I start doing that now. Like,
I think one thing that I've just realized now is like, so a couple of things on this. One is that we have work time. We have specific work time. We work like, we're we're both machines, like, but we have very different styles of work. Jamie's more like in the detail, and she can work constantly, where I'm a huge thinker, where I step back and most of my work is done thinking. It looks like I'm procrastinating, but actually I'm taking time because I'm all about strategy. And Jono, being a member, making the right strategic decisions is everything. There's no point running 1,000 miles an hour if you're going in the wrong direction. So we both appreciate that about each other. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so making sure that you have work time and then specific so this sounds really small, but it's always the small things, isn't it, in a relationship? So we have a 15-minute drive to work, to the office, and a 15-minute drive home, and the rule is no phone during that time and no work talk. And we don't need to even talk, but it's just our time. It's 15 minutes on the way to work. It's 15 minutes. And by the way, if Jamie's driving, I will not be on my phone because I'm in fear of my life.
Thank you for your honesty.
I'm like, you're too close to the tree.
Yeah, I just need a little bit more pressure. That's all.
Yeah. So we have specific times, and this happened really early in our relationship, because when I met Jamie, we pretty much I wanted to go to Thailand for like a couple of months, and I was like, look, we just got together. I want to go to Thailand for 2 months. My schedule allows me to do that. I'd love for you to come with me. And the chances are, if you don't come with me, we're probably not going to work as a relationship because we've just got together. She's like, okay, I'll come with you.
He sales closed me. He used a 5-step sales process.
Yeah.
You did a good job, Jamie. You did a very good job. Let's face it.
So even super early days, we found time every day, even in our like 18-hour schedule of work. And there were a lot of nights where we would stay up in Thailand. Remember, like when we were launching the academy originally, and the sun would be rising. We're working like crazy. Yeah. See, even our members know it's past my bedtime right now.
Yeah, they know that.
They know me so well.
He goes to bed.
All the members are all checking in. So basically every day what we would do, and I think it helped because I knew that Jamie could sit at a laptop all day, so I would start to feel like I don't want Jamie like just sat at the laptop. So I'd feel like we need to go for a walk. We need some of our time, but also because I'm a thinker, I would want to go for a walk. And there's a beautiful island that we stayed on with really nobody there. There was like 6 other people on the island, and other than a few locals. And every day we went for a 1-hour walk, or we did it twice. Like every 4 or 5 hours, we're like, let's go for that 1-hour walk. And that would be our time together with no phones. And it wasn't even like a conscious thing, but that's never changed. Like when the gym's open, we go to the gym together in the morning. We do all those things. But the second thing I was going to say, other than just having specific non-work time, that really works for us is like little random acts of kindness all day. So that's definitely huge. Like you say about, it's not even like we've got our little things like I'll bring a lemon water in the morning, I'll make you a juice. Yeah. Do everything else throughout the day. But like,
I think we add value in different ways in the relationship.
Yeah, or like just those like those random acts of kindness, I think throughout the day are really, really important, and they exist all day long. And that's like a small thing that because I've heard this before. I mean, Dilara, you're definitely the expert here compared to what I know, but I don't remember if I read it or heard it. But a relationship doesn't break down usually because of something big. It's a lot of small things that all add up.
Exactly. To a couple like this week. Literally, that was my words. Is like a lot of people like, oh, okay, this is. I'm like, no, it's not one thing. It's an accumulation of small things throughout. Yeah. No doubt about it. 100%, you're right on that.
Yeah.
You communicate.
And the other thing as well. Sorry, now I'm thinking about it. Is huge transparency, and even if there is a component, I don't want to use the word component, that's the wrong word. So let's say, for example, and I won't go into anything specific, but if there is something where like we felt misaligned, and we've been there. Funny enough, we've never had an argument in 3 years, but we've certainly had times where there's been discomfort. And times where we felt we're, kind of even drifting apart, and calling that out in a sit-down conversation and discussing it fully, and asking, almost like just being like, is there any, where does this come from? That question has come up quite a few times. Like, hey, there's this is how I feel about it. How do you feel about it? Where does it come from? And actually getting to that root cause by understanding where something, like, we've been able to really kind of become a lot closer. That's been quite important for us, I think.
Communication is really important. Don't bottle things up and hide things. Yeah.
But it's not just communication, it's the way you communicate, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the way you set up the conversation and pre-frame everything, and then you communicate in a certain way, because it's not just talking.
I think both of us are really uncomfortable being uncomfortable in a relationship. And I'm not saying comfort as in, like, binge watch Netflix and eat popcorn. I'm just talking about, you want to be happy, and you don't want to be going to bed on an argument, or B, like a misalignment. So I think we both try and be in flow with each other.
Oh yeah, another thing is, like, don't go to bed
Angry.
in an argument. We've never done that before.
Yeah, don't go to bed angry.
Like, last relationship definitely have, but this one,
I think both of us can agree with that. And both previous relationships.
Yeah, we've both done that, where you go to bed in an argument.
What about for those people, because I know certain people, what about those people who just, like, there are, like, people like my dad, for example, they struggle to communicate, right? So what about those people who not just struggle to communicate? So let's just say the argument happens late at night, and the advice here is don't go to bed with anger and with an argument, right? But let's just say one of the partners just have to have his own time and space alone before he can talk. What I mean, like, how do you work around that? I mean, because obviously that's not you guys, and that's not you, Pete, and I get that. But what would you say about that in that situation?
I was just going to say, like, I really can't answer that question, because I can't speak from personal experience. And I know there's, like, cliche quotes that are like, I was just thinking of a very cliche quote about it, that, if you value the relationship more than winning the argument, you can say that, but there's more depth than that, I think. But that probably is quite true as well. Like, it's just a matter of, like, making sure, like, because everything's resolved once you connect with someone. So, but yeah, I mean, my dad's equally not the best, wasn't the best communicator growing up with the whole family. But my mum's been patient with him. They're totally different. You never put them two together until now. Like, I remember growing up with my sisters and me being like, mum and dad, like, is it really, because they're so different. But now I can see why it's worked so well over the years. And just those little things that make a big difference. But I don't know what you would say.
I don't know as well. The question is really hard.
Just lots of luck.
Yeah.
I mean, that question's hard for those that aren't going for it or aren't that type of person. Because my dad's similar. He doesn't talk about emotions and being vulnerable and open to emotions and feelings. And I know how much that's caused in the relationships in the family and with my parents. It's one that you have to, someone that lives like that, to answer. It's not something that we could answer because we don't have that experience.
Yeah.
And even with me and Pauline, like, we don't go to bed, or we never argued, so we can't go to bed as well in our 10-year relationship. But
it takes like a 0.2 to change the state of a relationship. Like, literally, like, one hug or, like, one word, like, can change, and for the better or worse, right? But, like, when you know that instinctively, then that's kind of what you always lean towards. And I think, because, sorry to kind of cut you off, Jono, we've certainly had a few challenges over the last few years, more so in business. And I know that there was people asking more about, like, how do we work together and how do we grow a business together. So I'll give this very quick example. Like I mentioned earlier about, we have this amazing team. We've been so fortunate to find Danny and Tom and Louise who've come in and worked with us. Just with this, Jono, you've obviously you know these guys, but we didn't get that right the first time around. When we first got together, we wanted to grow the business quickly, so the natural step was to bring in a team, and you can only build a team to the capacity of where you're at in your consciousness at that time. And it was a complete train wreck. We brought in this team of 5 or 6 people quite quickly. The way we hired was not how I'd recommend now. and it was just everything about I won't even go into the situation, but it was just a very toxic situation, and that got got out of control quite quickly as well. And it's just where people are at in their lives, you know, like, and people come into things for different reasons. So I don't hold any grudges or anything like that. And I knew that I could only recruit to my leadership capacity in that time. Even though I'd led teams of up to 50 people in my 20s and done that successfully, this was my team and our team. And the one consistent throughout that 6 months that I had that first team, because it was around about 6 months, wasn't it? Well, it was about a year.
No.
Yeah. And by the way, when I use the word train wreck, I don't mean that completely, because some of those people in that team were fantastic. But the team as a unit just didn't work. And there was a couple of people in there that really wasn't a right situation. But regardless of everything that happens during that time, we always stood together on everything. And we didn't agree necessarily on everything, but there was never a moment where like we didn't stand together on things, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's, I think, if you're going to build something together, you have to stand together. It's because it's too hard. Like, I mean, I know, and it's great. Like, you know, we've shared the Slothy abduction this morning and all the fun things, and you know and it's really nice when someone's like, you're like the perfect couple, and thank you for that. But it's so like, even where we're at now with the business, to get even where we are now, it has been pretty brutal over the last couple of, like, during that time. And there's no mistakes, there's only lessons, you only grow, and it's all worthwhile. But yeah, we've had to really kind of do some soul searching, right?
Yeah. And with our team now, I think we definitely attracted, what was it, the same that you normally say? Like, you attract who you are.
Yeah, 100%.
I think 2 years ago, you were attracting kind of, what was that?
The old Pete. The old corporate Pete.
Yeah, I think we were going.
That's how you was attracting the old corporate Pete people.
Well, actually,
it was
it was
James Bond type of sleek alert.
So it was more in the phase where, like, you know, I had my Porsche and I had the corporate. I was traveling all around the world, and it wasn't just that I had that particular car. It was to do with the fact that where I was at in my own development, and I'd gone from corporate into this like personal development type world, online world, and you know, trying to find my right way to stand out. And you know, the advice I was given at the time was like, oh, you know, you're like the James Bond of sales. So like, I'm like, yeah, and then the ego kicks in, and then before you know it, you lose self-awareness. And there was nothing wrong with it, because we moved forward and we learned a lot of lessons. But we just attracted people who were
full of egos.
Well, yeah, I mean,
a little bit.
I think.
Yeah, let's be honest. Let's be honest with that. You attract people with full of ego. Yeah.
Yeah. So we definitely had that, and we also had people who were great, but just the team dynamic wasn't there. And there's 2 or 3 people that we're still really close with, really great friends with, and we've had round for dinner and all that. But equally, there's a few people in there that, you know, I wish them the best, genuinely, but they're not going to get a Christmas card.
No. I want to ask you a question. I want to go right back to the question. Actually, I want to ask that question to Jamie. You know, Pete was saying that, you know, the way that you work, that you just work basically like excess of hours and you can carry on. And then he was saying that, you know, okay, let's take a break and let's be boyfriend and girlfriend in that particular day, that, you know, let's go to Brighton. So I don't think, like, obviously I haven't worked with you. I don't think I work as long hours as you do. But I work quite intense. And when I work, that I just work, because obviously this is, for me, like, it's a lot of like around content. And I just literally just put myself in your situation, and I was like, how did you do that transition? Because for me, like, when I'm really focused, I'm just like, I just can't, like, I have to be on my space, like, because it's like, it's almost, I'm 100% focused. So how, because that would be quite tricky for a lot of people as well. How did you like stop what you need to do and then kind of say, okay, I'm going to go to Brighton? But that could be like, could trigger people's ego. It probably, I would struggle with it. I just have to be honest, like, with that transition. How did you do it?
I think I was like, oh no, there's so much to do. And then Pete's always like, come on, it'll be like really fun. Let's like have a boyfriend and girlfriend day. And I think it will really reset us and recharge. Because every time when there's like a big list of things to do, it's right. We do recharge, and then we work better that way. There's been a few times where we just we took a day out and we
always come back.
We
on
always
form.
come back on form.
Always.
I think when I'm overloaded with work, I'm really stressed out, and I can be like, oh no, I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to like hide and work.
It's your coping mechanism, isn't it? Is to dive more into the work.
Yeah.
Where my coping mechanism is to step back
Yeah.
and ask if I'm doing the right kind of work and are we making the right decision. And then sometimes it's been like,
come on, let's do it. Just turn off the laptop. Like, trust me, it'll be great. I'm like, fine, okay. It's a short little drive, and then we go, and then we have loads of fun.
like alignment's so much more important than hustle.
Yeah.
Like literally, I can't even begin to express that. We work like crazy, and it's insane, 7 days a week. But tomorrow we're pretty much taking the day off. But just learn more and more like alignments.
Yeah, you always remind me like we need to take a break. I think because I can just keep going, but Pete always reminds me that we have to take a break, go somewhere, or just even watch a movie or get off the screen, not have any screen time. And
Michael said his coping mechanism is chocolate. Mine too.
No, we don't do chocolate right now.
Jamie's like, she's like, it's so funny, even at the office, I like have a chocolate bar and she'll take it away and hide it in front of the team. And the team will look and they'll be like, I'm not allowed it.
He loves chocolates.
He's the boss.
Crazy.
So how do you guys balance who's going to do what? Are you like do you step into your toes? Like, is it like a clear definition of who's doing?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Because you're both working together, so it's not completely separate thing.
We both bring totally different value to the business.
Yeah.
So I'm big picture, strategy, I am the salesperson for this business. And by the way, anybody that's watching, if you want your business to, and I don't want to kind of go into a teaching session here, but I'll just say, you have to be you've got to be the salesperson. You have to be you are the game changer for that business. Fact.
Yeah, I think you have like loads of crazy good ideas, and then I bring it to life.
Yeah. So one thing, Delara, you asked earlier, like who comes up with the ideas? Like, I'm guilty as charged. I have the most crazy imagination. Like, I'm like, let's do this and do this. And then Jamie's always been incredible, like making that actually become like something real. And then now we have, and now we have a team, it just becomes exponentially more that we can do. We can amplify it so much more. But very much we have totally different roles, and knowing your role I think is really important. So that's a good question. I would struggle to date someone like me because there'll be too much.
That's what I wanted to understand, because I think like I was just curious, because I was just thinking about like my one, we were just almost the same, and the passion and intention was the same. There was never a clear definition, so I just wanted. Because like it's not the same obviously, but like Jono and Ik, like their teamwork works really well with business because they have completely different skills.
Couple goals right there, Jono and Ik.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
like Pete and
I was
Jamie.
going to say, the way Jamie and Pete works is similar to me and Jono. How we separate our roles. It's like Jamie.
So clear, and I think that's really fundamental. And I don't think a lot of couple that when they want to be this power couple, boss couple, relationship goals, whatever couples would like to call it, I think that's one thing they don't realize, that you can't you can be with somebody like as ambitious, as hardworking as it is, but if you're very similar and if you don't have any clear separation, definitely going to be on, what's the word, like going to step in each other's toes, and I don't think that's going to go down.
Well, just
Yeah.
quickly on that actually as well. We never set out to be a boss. Like even now, I feel uncomfortable saying it. So maybe that's
I
part of
cringe
it.
a little.
But
Yeah,
like,
so- yeah.
some people say it. Like I'm not saying you guys, but there's a
Yeah.
whole trend which, you know, if
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I think
it's not like people will call you whatever they want to call you, right? Regardless.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think you know I shared the vision that I had with the academy when we first met. I was very open about it. I'm like, this is what I want to do, and it just happened very organically that Jamie was, you know, really keen to help out where she could, and it just became more and more. And interestingly enough, one of the reasons why, and I think this has been really key. So like Jamie in her own right is a brand. Like, you know, you've had YouTube video with over 1 million views. You know, I knew you because of you being like this YouTuber, and then, you know, very much you stepped into my world and I stepped into your world as well. But you were like, okay, I'm going to help with this. And I think what's really important is to respect that both of you have to have your thing. And I think that's where we probably had, not, I won't even say struggle, but certainly we've had to discuss that quite a lot about like, but you've always said like you've enjoyed that, like, so for example, Jono, you know this, like the members love Jamie, right? So, you know, like even from the first time we did an event together, you know, you were on, you know, not on the stage, but very much front of house, like there. Whereas I know a lot of partners may like, they don't want their partner to, this like, this is my thing, blah, 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 but it's always been our thing. Like Jamie's a shareholder in the business. Like, so, because whatever happens, like she's built this business with me. We've built this business together, and that's definitely fundamental. And if one person feels like the other person's growing and all that, and they're not getting a chance, I think that creates an imbalance as well. And interesting enough, like I've said this to you recently, like especially the last few months since we moved out to Norwich and we've got a team. Funny enough, my role hasn't really changed that much, but Jamie's basically delegated her role to like 4 people, so it just shows how much work you were doing.
Yeah. I think it was like overwhelming a little bit, but I managed. I coped.
But like
really
you're
well.
such a good boss. Like now you are such a good boss. You're so good. Like literally, the team love you, and you know when to be serious. You know when to mess around. You know when to, you know, pull someone aside 1-to-1. You know when to coach, and it's so instinctive. And that's where like it's been really nice. True. So yeah.
Wait, I want to know out of Jono and Egg, who's Pete and who's Jamie?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. That's a good question.
Have a guess. Have a guess.
I think Jono is like me.
Yeah.
Because it's like late owl and he does like websites and Infusionsoft and landing pages, like the techie, and also design. And then I feel like Ick stroking his chin is a bit like, it's like Pinky in the Brain. And Ick is like Pete.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
you're absolutely right. So actually, our students, our clients, and our students, they always have the saying. It's like, oh, it's like the dad, like Papa Ick and Mama Jono. You know, it's like it's very much similar.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I always say every business owner, every entrepreneur needs a Jono in their life.
Like Jamie.
Pete's got Jamie in his life, right? So everyone needs a Jono and a Jamie in their life because, like,
Orange
people like
Both of them.
Right.
I would
Right,
say
Pete, wouldn't you agree that, like, if left to us, we wouldn't know where to start, we wouldn't know what to do, like with all these big ideas that keeps happening? It's like, how are we going to manifest it, right?
I have 1,000 ideas a day. I actually tell, one thing I do say to the team is I'm like, don't ever worry about present, because our team are really young. They're very talented, but they're like 22 to 24 years old. And I'm like, don't ever worry about bringing up an idea because you think it's going to be a bad idea, because I have 1,000 bad ideas a day and we're still here running a business. So we really encourage that. But 100%. And just adding to that as well, one thing that I have learned to do is that I don't expect like Jamie to, when I'm soundboarding all those ideas, this is a really good, I recommend this for like boss couples. So believe it or not, and I've done this for a couple of years, I pay a friend of mine, I won't say what I pay him, but I pay a friend of mine who's a really good soundboard, and he's actually worked in sales his whole life, and I pay him for like 2 to 3 hour sessions, not for coaching. I pay him so I can literally unload all of my, dump all of my ideas. I've got a huge whiteboard in the bedroom, and I get him on a Zoom, and I'm like, okay, this is what I need to figure out in my head, and we're going to go 3 hours. And he literally, sometimes he doesn't even give any advice. He just listens and soundboards, and I pay him a fee for that, and that's great. So, yeah.
So how about you? How do you get things out?
Sorry,
How
I got cut off a little bit.
You know, like Pete has this friend
Yeah.
that he's sharing as like using it as a soundboard. Who do you have? Like what do you do?
Well, I don't have like all these crazy ideas constantly like Pete. So I don't really need to soundboard any ideas. We're quite different. Like you have millions of ideas, and I don't really have millions of ideas like Pete. If I have any ideas, I just tell you.
You're just so creative, though.
But I'm creative in a different way. Pete's creative also in his way. Like all those crazy slothy scripts is pretty much you. Those storyboards.
I was going to ask, when's the sloth movie coming out?
The sloth fix.
We're actually creating sloth. So it's going to be part of the academy. So you guys, so Jono, you know, as a member, you'll get access to it. But we're going to have Slothy Fix, which is like Netflix, but all the TV shows are with slothies.
My favorite.
On a serious question, how do you manage your individual boundaries as a couple working together as well?
What boundaries? Sorry.
Individual boundaries, individual me times.
Like
How do you have
personal
individual
boundaries,
me times?
Personal times.
Yeah. Oh, I love me times. Like you love me times too. I'm obsessed with me times.
How do you manage and have that boundary and stuff in place?
Well, previously I would go to Newcastle to see my family for a bit, right?
Yeah. So every few months, like
yeah.
there's always like Jamie will do a bit of a trip to go and see family, which is always due, right? So that definitely gives us both quite a bit of a significant amount of me time. But
now it's lockdown. I think your me time, you hide in the other little office where it's like deep thinking, or you go out, or I would go out, but we work in different rooms.
You can't work in the same room as your partner. Like that is asking for trouble. That's one thing I'll say is that never in 3 years have we worked in the same room unless we're just trying to specifically finish one task. But if you want to do great, like only from our own experience, if you want to do great work, you've got to work in separate places, ideally locations. Yeah. So that's why I go to coffee shops. Even when we lived in London, I would go to like the British Library and work from there, or I'll go to I had about 7 or 8 little hotspots in London that I love to go to. And I actually found if I needed to be creative, I'll go upstairs in St Pancras and sit there where I could think and be creative. But if I needed focus work, I had a little Starbucks where they had a really cool little corner area in Hammersmith. So I knew the sort of work that I need to do, and I would go to that specific place. But yeah, definitely having boundaries is definitely important. And knowing the 2 or 3 things that specifically kind of may trigger the other person. So I didn't even realize mine was like, you know, you being on a late night, being on different sleep patterns just didn't work for us.
Yeah.
So we, you know, I was like, I can't go to bed late because I'm not that person. And Jamie was like, well, I'll come to bed earlier. So we resolved it. And then also,
I don't know what triggers me.
If it wasn't lockdown, right? Like if you said to me, I want to go to Japan for a month, I'd be like, go and enjoy yourself.
Yes.
But this is the thing. So my ex, not to bring out exes, the ex for a reason, right? But I had this. So I used to go to New York for a consulting contract every year for like 3 weeks. It was phenomenal, you know, go and stay in the coolest hotels in New York and get paid to be there, and then check out of the hotel and they're like, your bill's covered, and it's like, well, that's good. It's just an amazing experience. But so I always went by myself, and then I was with an ex-girlfriend, and I was going to go to New York, and I said, "Listen, do you mind if I go by myself? Because I've always gone by myself." And there was a pressure that you're going to New York. You've got this amazing. Why wouldn't you want your partner to come along? And I had to justify, and it just, the more she pushed, the more it pushed me away. And actually, inevitably, that's one of the major reasons why we broke up. But there was lots of little things leading up to that. So anyways, fast forwards to the time that I'm now with Jamie, and the New York contract came up, and Jamie's just like, "So you want to go and enjoy it by yourself?" And I was like, "No, I kind of want you to come with me," like, so it's that trust. You love New York.
Yeah. New York's one of my favorite places. I would go back.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll definitely go back to New York too.
It's magical.
But I find it really fascinating, Pete, how actually you just illustrated that it's the person, isn't it? It's the person you're going with at the end of the day. So
yeah. I don't like to be told what to do, and Jamie's had an incredible ability of there's so many little things where we've kind of adjusted behavior.
I'm sorry.
So Pete, is it because you know that even if you went with Jamie, Jamie would respect you enough to give you a personal space if you needed it anyways, right?
I think we're just both we both know, I know how much Jamie enjoys her personal space, and I'm really happy when you go and have a great day and you come back and tell me about it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And vice versa as well. I think I can. I went to Thailand by myself for a week. I literally felt really overwhelmed, and I had the academy, but it wasn't really doing a lot. And my consulting gigs were there in abundance. First world problems, right? I've got these big companies which are constantly being like, "Can you come here? Can you do that?" But really, I just went to the academy, what we do now, and I was like, I just want to get away from it all. I want to get so far away from it all just for a week. And then I woke up one morning, I'm like, I think I want to go to Thailand or something just for a week to go and think. And she's like, "Okay, cool. When do you want to go?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'll go today."
Yeah. Another thing is I didn't try to control you or keep nagging. For example, the shoe situation. I don't like shoes in house. But
wearing the shoes in the house, you mean?
Oh yeah. Wearing shoes in the house. Yeah.
That's the Chinese thing. Yeah. I get it.
My England is getting much gooder.
Yeah.
But anyways, we were in our first flat. Was really small. When you say it's quite small, and then
well, it was my flat. I thought I was going to be single
when you
there.
were by yourself.
I thought I was going to be, bachelor pads, living the life.
Big enough for you.
And then we were sometimes walking with shoes, and I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, not sure about that. And no, just
I think in my parents' house as well. My parents, they have shoes on, so whatever.
Just sometimes, if you want to grab something or if you want to put your shoes on, you kind of walk in to.
Yeah, you never directly told me to change anything, but then over time.
I didn't try to really change you, but then you just I just let you over time to just figure it out. Yeah.
With a lot of hints here and there.
Yeah, I didn't try to control or anything.
I've never felt like you nagging me or anything like that. I'm laughing. Michael's saying, "I bet the ex is watching, tearing up."
I was laughing a second ago when you were talking, Pete. I just saw that. That's why I cracked up.
Oh really? Yeah. Well, it's funny because I actually nicknamed my ex. I was like, I feel like I'm dating a to-do list.
Oh yeah.
Because that and I but it got to that point, and I was like, I feel like I'm literally dating a to-do list, because that's every time I check my phone, it's like, can you do this and do that? Oh, and you're walking past Tesco, can you pick this and this up? And I don't have a problem with that, but it was kind of daily. And I said, I'm dating a to-do list. And my to-do list is short, the one you send me every day, and I think with us, it's always just been we just get on with it. There's no and we know, both of us know the value that we bring to this relationship without needing to say it out loud. And there are certain things that we've just slotted in we're fortunate quite early on. Quite early on we were transparent in, like, I said, look, I don't really cook, and I joked with my ex that I'm like, you could date a chef. If you want a chef, date a chef. But I'm not going to go. But funny enough, through Jamie not putting pressure on for me to cook, I'm very happy to like put a meal together or whatever. Like, I cooked a nice veggie fry up at the office this morning, so we have a kitchen there. And it's really nice to do that.
Yeah, it's really similar to your parents' relationship, because your dad doesn't know how to cook at all. But if he wants to treat your mum, but he does the breakfast. He's also the breakfast guy, exactly like Pete. But if he wants to treat your mum and give her a day off, then he would get takeaway. That's how he do it. Yeah. So your dad's pretty much like you. Can't cook,
similar.
but yeah.
Do you guys like focus on the you time? Like, for you guys would be like us time? Like, isn't that schedule holiday in advance, or date nights, or weekend aways and things like that? Do you guys do that, or just more spontaneous kind of thing?
I can't even book Jono in for his 1-to-1 because I can't see that far ahead. Where everything's flow, like, and there's a lot of structure in our day to day, but in terms of like, if Jono, like, can I book you next Thursday? I'm like, I really can't think that far ahead. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
But with Jono, we get him through 1-to-1.
Yeah.
And but yeah, what do you think?
We're pretty much in flow. If it's a lot of holidays that we've been on has been quite spontaneous sometimes as well.
Always spontaneous.
We have a lot of spontaneous trips.
Again, very fortunate to be in a position to do that. And I know that maybe people watching this, and especially now lockdown and everything in this whole pandemic, there's no travel really planned for anybody. But we're fortunate we could travel a lot together. But to answer your question directly, we both love and respect our own time, and you've got to spend time with yourself, because if you can't spend time with yourself, there's no way you can be of any use to anybody. To spending time with somebody, with your significant other. And even tonight when we get done with this call, I know for a fact that like Jamie's going to have, because tomorrow I've kind of got a day off. That's why I'm quite happy to like have this later call as well. But I'm going to go and treat myself to a movie after this call, which I'll probably fall asleep watching. Normally I'm like in bed by like 10 or whatever, but because I don't have to be up tomorrow. And then I know you're gonna stay out here and you're gonna do something fun for yourself. You'll probably watch some, I don't know, drama.
I don't know. But also, another thing is, it's really nice when sometimes when we've got so much to do, you're just surprised by driving us to like a nice breakfast place.
Oh yeah, so that's true. So I do this I do this a lot. We do this a lot. Where like, what was it, last weekend? The weekend 2 weeks ago. Yeah. We were meant to go straight to the office. And I always get up, do my little routine, and then I wake Jamie out of a lemon water and a juice, and I'm like, okay, let's go to the office. And then without telling her, I just drove straight to like our favorite. It's at the train station in Wyndham. It's a really cool little like they do, what is it, bistro?
Yeah,
it's a restaurant.
And
like
then
they do breakfast.
The chairs are like train seats and everything. It's really cool.
But then the trains actually pull up next to the window and stuff, which is nice. So yeah, I just pulled up. She's like, "Oh, we're going for breakfast." I was like, "Yeah, let's have breakfast and then we'll go to the office." So we make sure. So those random kind of those random acts of like just doing something, not telling the other, and that happens quite a lot, I think.
Oh yeah, another random thing is like now and again, if I come out of the shower or something, Pete would do something really stupid with the sloth. And it's just it lightens up the day. Yeah.
That's how Slothy was born. So every time Jamie would go out, when she got home, the sloths were like
doing meditation with crystals around them,
or having an orgy, or like something, or like like a horror movie or alien abductions. So that's how Slothy actually really came to life.
Yeah.
Did you as well do other things when Jamie just went out to put the bins out or something?
Yeah.
You did so many things. What did you do?
List is endless.
I remember so many sloths.
But again, it's so easy. It's so easy to get busy and not do those little things. And like I know, like what makes Jamie happy is like it doesn't need to be like. Fortunately, it doesn't need to be like a £1,000 bag or you know, a new pair of shoes or whatever. Like, you know, your language of love or whatever it's called is like, you know, just like thoughtfulness and so yeah, just and it's just the smallest things, like, you know, setting up Slothy to like scare you, even though Jamie's so easy scared. The funny thing is Jamie's really easily scared, right? So like I can scare her. I can literally put like a Slothy behind a door, and then when she opens it, she freaks out, even though they're like cuddly. Jamie will try and scare me, so like I'll get out the shower and then I'll walk out, and I won't even notice. I'll step over it without even realizing. And she's like, "Did you not notice that Slothy's there?" Like, you know, to scare you. And she's really gone to like town and like wrapped it up to look like, you know, some Star Wars character or something. And I just step over. But then like we'll forget to move it. So get this is where it gets really funny, is that then Jamie will go to the bathroom, and when she comes out, she freaks out at the sloth that she placed to scare me. And I'm like, how are you scared? Did you put the sloth in there?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
So would you guys say laughter and humor is the key in your relationship?
Oh yeah, we do make each other laugh a lot.
Yeah. You're always like, "You're so funny."
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, I think so. Because, you know, at the end of the day, like, the one thing I think we've definitely established about business is that there's no finish line until you probably sell the business, right? But in the meantime, I think a lot of people have a perception that when they hit a certain figure, you know, everyone talks about 6-figure, 7-figure, whatever, right? But you know, the one thing you realize is that doesn't happen. You're always going to be busy on the business, and you do, especially early on, the first, I would say 18 months, we were definitely guilty of that, of being like, when we get to here, everything will be okay. And then you hit that goal and that milestone, you're even more busy and even more stressed than you've ever been. And then you're like, no, but it's okay. When we start hitting this, everything will be okay. And then you hit that and you're like, oh my goodness, actually, no, there's a whole new thing that opens up that, and everything just amplifies. And so now, like, we're just, you know, very much just like, it doesn't matter if we're doing however many hundreds of thousands in the business or whatever. So it's kind of irrelevant, right? I mean, you got to obviously make money, but like example, we now have staff to pay. We have an office to pay. We have bigger VAT bills, bigger tax bills. Like our outgoings for December are, you know, my entire year's earnings from a few years ago. Just the business outgoings are my personal earnings from a few years ago in 1 month. So, you know, and you're like, okay, great. Like we're in a position we can pay that. That's nice. But I think what you can't do is delay being a couple because you're building a business, and that's really important. And I think that's something that we've had, even though we didn't realize it, we make time to be a couple at least for 5 minutes a day, every day, whether that's a drive in the car, whether that is going out. Like we had, Everyman Cinema in London, which I do miss. I do miss that. But we had membership because it's like £40 a month. So we had Everyman membership. So any given moment, it might be a Monday morning, like we went to see Joker at like 11 in the morning on a Monday.
Oh yeah, you booked it early.
Yeah, and I was just like, should we just like work late today and just go watch a movie? And then you take that time together. But yeah, definitely, like, I think that's key is taking time out just to like be together, and whether that's 2 minutes or whether that's like 2 days, it's definitely key.
So would you
hugs?
Sorry. Oh, loads of hugs.
I said it's important. As soon as the team goes, I'm like, hug. The team's gone now. We can hug.
Jamie's sticky. I call her sticky.
I'm not. You're sticky.
That's so cute.
Sorry, Dilara, you was asking?
Yeah. So, like Sasa, would you guys say is there not too like strategic? I totally understand the relationship flows, but do you guys like at times it's one of you kind of like really get focused, and the other one is like, remember, like relationship is the priority, like us is the priority, that we need to focus on that? Do you guys feel like that is actually makes a big impact?
Huge.
And the reason I'm saying that, because sometimes, like when I work with couples, when I do couples coaching, I always say that, you know, for when they're married and have kids, and I'm like, no, it's actually as husband and wife, you two more important than kids, because like, when you're happy, when you're healthy, they will feel it anyway. But if you just prioritize them, then you're just going to drift apart. Do you guys feel like maybe not a set rule, but that kind of like something? But the only reason I'm saying that, clearly it works for you guys perfect. You know, there's alignment, that comes with flow. But I'm only thinking like if people watching and then they don't know, maybe like they might be beginning of the relationship, maybe they're dating or things like that, to get some advice from you guys. Would that be something you guys would say, that prioritize relationship over anything?
As in prioritize relationships over. What's the
Go back to the question.
Specific question again.
Go back to the.
It's like, do you guys would say that, for example, like relationship is the priority for everything, like business, profit, everything?
Yeah. So I know
And
that. Look,
if someone falls back, the other one is kind of bringing it back and remember, like relationship is priority. So this is important for our relationship.
I think we might surprise you with this answer. I think, and you probably won't mind me saying this, I'm that person in this relationship. Like if Jamie was given a choice, like she would just work because she's a machine. This girl
I was
is
just
out
about
and
to
out.
say that. It's Pete, the one that always reminds me about, let's take some time out. It's because I think I can, work like a machine. Yeah, you're the one that always reminds me.
To a point where there would be no relationship left. I mean, it's something that I admire about you, and I wish I had that work ethic. I mean, I'm not afraid of hard work and putting in the hours, but certainly there's when I feel that the work is overtaking the importance of the relationship. I'm like, okay, we're going for a walk, or even if it's something like, because we live like when it's summer here, it's all black. You can pick blackberries and everything. They're everywhere, like
unlimited blackberries.
Yeah, and or just taking let's just take 2 minutes to like sit together and do. In fact, we've kind of got this new nice little routine which I quite like. When we get back from the office, it takes a little while to heat up the barn, and so we end up having this like little kind of like conversation where Jamie sits by like cat by the radiator, and I just chill on the sofa for can be up to like 10 minutes to half an hour.
Yeah, and sometimes we just talk random shit.
Yeah, and that's quite nice. There's no phones, we just have a chat, and that was unintentional. It's just kind of a habit we've developed as it's got colder weather. Yeah, but definitely that has to be key. Like, you're never too busy to have if you're in a relationship, you're never too busy to have that relationship. Like, it's a decision, it's a conscious decision that you've made to be in a relationship. And if work is that important and it becomes more important than the relationship, then it's time to be single, not in a relationship. And I think, like we both clearly value our relationship. So anything that would jeopardize that, i.e. being a workaholic, I think, and like I say, from the very beginning, even when we're in Thailand, just going for those walks, but it makes sense, right? Like when you look at it from a rational standpoint, it makes perfect sense that when you're in alignment, that you're just going to get a lot more shit done, and you're actually going to feel great about it. And when you're happy together, but if one person's feeling like, they're kind of addicted to work and I'd love to have some time with them, and then they're not getting that need fulfilled, then you're not going to be able to focus, either one of you, because you're both going to feel it.
Yeah.
Take time out for each other and by yourself, and know which way round that goes.
Well, it's just that separation is so key, isn't it?
It's absolutely everything, because you're two individual people growing together and being a part of something together, and you've chosen a particular lifestyle. Like we say all the time, we've chosen a particular lifestyle, and a lot of people, which is nice, a lot of people on the outside see it as, they see the nice bits, but they don't see the 4 a.m. trying to make sure that all the systems work. Jono, you know about this, ensuring that like that clip that you saw, that's like 90 seconds, that took 9 hours to create from like, you know, there's certain things that we do which is like a 30-second clip. Like Jono, you know, like in Norwich, the show it was a show we put on for 2 days. And you know, so we were.
Well, Jono missed the first
Oh,
day.
you missed the first day, yeah.
So it was like that had like all the good.
He overslept.
He overslept.
Yeah. So and you know, just but I think we were averaging like 2 hours sleep a night for a good few days, which is I don't recommend by any means. So sleep is so crucial. But then we knew once that thing was done. And this is probably another thing I haven't thought about is like whenever we do anything epic, we then reward us. Like I'm huge on like, so I don't know where I read this or learnt this years ago, but like whenever you achieve anything, go reward yourself straight away, because it will program your mind to do it again, because it will get that reward. And
yeah, Tony Robbins teaching.
Yeah, so we do this. We do this all the time, but the problem that I used to have before I met Jamie, especially, and even the first year we were together, those rewards were just a bit too big. So I'm like, oh, I've worked hard. Let me go and buy a ridiculously expensive car, or let's go and spend all this money on this really amazing holiday. And so we learned now, like that reward can actually be like, okay, so when we finished the 100 Club last year, where we drove all over the UK and met 100 business owners, which was really cool. It was exhausting though. We finished, and again, I didn't tell Jamie about it, but I booked for 2 massage therapists to come to our home in London. And when we got back from a little walk, they were at the door, and you were like, you didn't know what they were.
I was like,
you know who they were.
People, I've never seen them before. They're not from this building.
Yeah. So
it's like, why is she waiting outside looking at me, giving me weird looks? So
yeah, definitely like do it. But it might just be like, let's go and have breakfast together, just something like that, and have that time to be present.
Yeah. But I think.
Time to work.
Sorry.
So I was just saying, there's always enough time to work. You know,
Yeah.
there's always, you can always do the work.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I?
True. Also, I think it's one of the key things that it's so important for couples work together and live together, like to creating things together. Genuinely want each other to win, like individual wins as well, not just like the whole business. Like that's key, of course. You want the business to win, you know, you want the partnership to win. But I personally think it's so key to be individually proud of each other. Like, for example, you be so proud of Jamie, who she is, what she achieves, and genuinely kind of cheered for her to win. But it not just because like your business will win, but it's like individually just to be able to separate and just encourage and support that. For me, at least that's what I like. For me, if I reflect back to what I had, that was one of the things we're missing. Like, I wasn't being cheered for individual for anything. Like that wasn't even existed. So when I start to study, if you like, to couples, not individually just talking, but more like just absorb it and study it, I just saw that they were just each other's cheerleader. But it wasn't just for the business. It wasn't just for the money. It's just who they are, what they're capable of. Like, for example, you show that just even talking, like when you kept acknowledging it, so beautiful, like how hard Jamie works and her work ethic, and I think that language, like I can see that you have it in your relationship as well. And that's for me, for couples who try to work together and build something together, I really do think that's non-negotiable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I always say I'm really like proud of you.
Every day.
Like pretty much every day. Yeah, like the other day, let's say, Pete did like a Monster 2-hour was it masterclass deep dive session.
Yeah, 2 hour like we had like 170 odd people on a training, and so it's a 2 hour training. Sometimes it do like 3 hours.
2 hours is short though, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. They're insane. Like you've been through them, right? Yeah. But you always, as soon as I get done on any of those calls, because Jamie knows, like I'm done. Like after those calls, I'm
it's
like really intense.
When it's amazing, and the whole PowerPoint and slides and everything that you create is always
always
So
over
epic.
200 slides. I mean, it's like a
Yeah.
30-hour job just to build out that training.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
Pete's energy that lasts throughout from start to finish. Like it's intense energy. It doesn't even go dip. It just stays like high.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, I need to open the door. I'm going to pass out. Like,
Yeah.
can I get really hot really quickly? Even in the winter, I don't care if it's like snow outside. I'm like, open the door. You know, I need some air in here. But every single time, without fail, like as soon as I finish, and it's not even to a point where it's cliche, like because it's always intentional. It's like, you know, you always know, like you're always like, I'm really proud of you, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. And I think in relationships, you can start to feel like, because I've heard that language more so in like English culture, but I've heard that in other couples where they kind of almost talk their partner down. They're like, oh, just this person. Oh, don't big him up too much. He'll get a bit. Where you've never once said that to anybody, like outside of you or me. You know, where you're always like, I'm proud of you. Like last night, yeah, even tonight when we did the whole show, we did call-ins. It was so fun. I don't know, John, if you caught it
I
earlier.
was there. I was there for two calls, and then I had to pop off. And
Which was really nice. And you know, as soon as we got off that call, you're like, I'm so proud of you, blah blah blah. And I think we'll always, but that's just natural. It's not even a forced thing. It's not it's not even like we have to sit down at the end of the day and have a meeting and be like, what are you proud of?
But it shouldn't be anyway, because then that's fake. That's what I was trying to say, because I really do think, like, I mean, obviously, like, this is Jamie and Pete's relationship, so it's kind of like they are the ones in the relationship. But for me, like, if anyone is watching, I would say that the key is, like, honestly, being your partner's biggest cheerleader. Like, really want to see your partner to win. Just really see how they shine and what they do, what they create, and just look at them and just support them. I don't think there's anything more important than that, just personally, because then that person start to achieve more, and that they start to create more, and not because they attach to that acknowledgement, but there's nothing else like it from the person that you hear it from, someone you love. So I really do think that is just so important. Sometimes I feel like people miss that out, how important it is.
Well, I like the fact that Jamie got thrown into the deep end to do public speaking in front of like 30, 40 members when she doesn't even normally do public speaking.
Yeah.
Crushed it. They loved you.
Yeah.
They
I don't know.
loved you,
I
like,
don't.
on stage.
Like Pete just took a seat back at the back and just like, I'm just gonna chill at the back and just sit and then watch Jamie do public speaking.
We're both unafraid. Like we're both like unafraid to let the other take the spotlight. Like, you know, there's no like I in that sense. It's very much about like, you know, I knew that the members love you already, and that you going on stage, that it was just going to work. And you know, it was just, you crushed it, and you were totally yourself and totally. And so it's and now you're like a regular, like the event.
Well, I wouldn't do the teaching. I was hosting the
quiz.
The pub quiz was really fun. And then
you did the review as well. You reviewed the previous day of everyone, but it's just, and again, it's hosting. I think it's, you can't, you know, I think we both are very keen to put each other in situations where we can succeed and not fail, and so that's definitely, so like, and we know each other so well. We've been together 3 years, and so if either one of us know that we can succeed in something, we're very happy to be like, you take the spotlight on this. Like even tonight, I was like, you know, you kind of had a bit, I was like, you jump on. And I was like, I'll jump on with you, but I'm still getting dressed. And you're like, no. And I'm like, just jump on. Like, why not? And here we are, you know, a couple hours later.
Yeah. And you're not sleepy yet.
No, I'm good. It's fun.
It's honestly like, it's just so important. I think it's like, I see that a lot, like when couples are thinking, oh, let's create, let's build. And I'm like, but it's kind of, do you see like that ambition, that kind of focus is amazing. That's a great driver. But you need to realize that there's in this partnership that, you know, like it's so key, it's so fundamental, that really kind of want the best out of for your partner, like no matter what, to be able to support them. It's yeah, it's
if you're building something that's worthwhile, you're going to go through some serious shit, especially in the first couple. I can only speak for my own experience, but especially in the first couple of years, like it's actually quite nice. Like as I've said to you a couple of times, in the last 24 hours, that this 30 days, which we've done a lot of things like this before, and but I'm really relaxed in it and enjoying myself because we've got systems, we've got a team, we've been through it before. We have so many genuinely incredible people who are on board, and there's this amazing vibe and energy. But if we just rewind a couple of years or 18 months even, like it was like the stress and the things you have to do. And I've seen, like, so get this, like here's a couple of examples. Like I've seen Jamie like working on something and then falling asleep at a laptop and then waking up and carrying on working, and then or like bursting into tears, like because it's just overwhelmed, like because that's the stage. But these are kind of and again, I think that there's a massive misconception with like, and I don't want to sell this, that you've got to hustle, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of, for our alignment at that time, that's what we had to go through. And for us to become the people and the couple that we need to be, to even be, and I'm not speaking as a success story here by any means, but to even be where we are now, like, you've got to be prepared to go through that. And I think that however pissed off or angry or frustrated or, I'd be outright like, we had a stage where we had a ton of outgoings and we're like, and then I had a massive contract that was cancelled with the corporate. So that wasn't coming in. I'd prep my cash flow around it, and we're like, damn, we're down to like, zero money in the account, and we've got £37,000 outgoings next month. And it doesn't matter what the figure is, right? Because if you've got £500 outgoings and you haven't got it, that's still a problem. Yeah. But never, I will say, never once, hand on heart, in Jamie's time of frustration and anger or like tears or like my exhaustion or overwhelm or pissed offness or frustration, never once has either one of us pointed the blame at the other, ever. It's always been about the situation. It's always been about, we know we've got to get through this. And I think as soon as you get to a point where, because when you get really angry or you get really frustrated or you get really worried, it can be very easy to project that in the direction of your partner. And I think that's been probably quite huge for us, is that it doesn't matter like how angry we are or whatever. It just doesn't go in the direction of the other person.
It's no one's fault.
It just is what it is. We just work together, we'll figure it out. Everything's figure outable.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question we never asked, and since we're all here together now, we can ask this, right? What was your biggest attraction between you two? How did you attract to each other?
Jamie was like a YouTuber. I thought it was like, I wanted to be famous.
Jamie's a celebrity, so Pete was all over her already. Pete was free soul. Free soul.
Thought she might get me on her channel,
He just wanted shout outs. Well, sorry?
I said he wanted the shout out, but then he fell in love. That's not what he planned.
Well, we both didn't plan to be with each other. At first we were both in Malaysia for a week with all our friends.
Both wanted to be single.
And we were both like wanted to be single, just weren't looking for anyone. But then we got on so well and got chatting for like a whole day. Got drunk together at 12 p.m. in the afternoon and stuff. And then the rest is history.
I think it was just kind of everything, we just got on really well. And I think, it was a lot of fun, a lot of spontaneity. And I like that, I think I like that Jamie was spontaneous. And we just immediately clicked and gelled like that. And obviously there was like the attraction in terms of like, physical attraction was there immediately. That was for sure. And that obviously helps. But then we ended up just spending a day together and getting on really well. It's just like so easy. And we're both like, I just come out of a relationship a couple months earlier, and I'm like, I'm single now for at least 2 years. Like I'm going to do my thing. And Sorry.
That's what you think.
Yeah. And Jamie's like, I want to be a nun. Okay.
I did say that. Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna date anyone for a while. I'm gonna be a nun.
So she pulled up this thing of like chakra energy of like how you share your energy when you sleep with someone and how she's not going to sleep with anyone.
No man getting this, accessing this energy.
But I will just share this because it is late enough to say this now. Transparency early on was definitely key. So it was rumored that when Jamie first got with me, that it was rumored that I was a bit of a player, and not to trust me and blah blah blah, and that like I travel around the world and have all these different girlfriends in different not girlfriends but like different girls in different places. And so Jamie brought it up, and I was like, yeah. I was like, that's exactly me. And she's like, okay. And that was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, why deny anything? Like, like trying to hide behind something. And we just laughed about it, and you're like, okay, fair enough. And then they were like, well, they didn't make Jamie, did they? I'm like, okay, fair enough. It's really straightforward. Like, the more we try and like put in the closet and, hide away and all that. And, we've had some pretty honest, open conversations about deeper stuff that, and the more transparency that we have, especially early on, is definitely key. And just again, like I say, as soon as she challenged me on like how my past behavior, I can't change it. It's really straightforward, and so I'm like, they're totally right. I'm like, isn't it cool that you're with a guy that so epic?
So epic.
Joking, but and it's just I think just being honest with each other is really key, and really honest, like in obviously the things you love about the person, but also as well if there is something that's causing like a misalignment or whatever. I think that's been really nice, like handling some personal things with each other and actually growing through that as well. It's been quite good. So, we've definitely been able to develop as people.
Mm-hmm.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I will add to it because I had a conversation with Pete long time ago during the time when you and Jamie started dating, right? And because we know about your ex, we've met her. Remember, we had dinner once. Me, Jono, we had dinner once at an Angel, so we met her. So we we had a casual conversation, and I would say that Pete, after that relationship, it's kind of like you had a sense of clarity of what you don't want in a relationship anyway, because of that experience. And and it's not just her, obviously, right? So you kind of know exactly what you don't want, but you didn't quite get what you wanted. That's right, as in like you wasn't very clear on what you wanted from a relationship. But I remember you telling me when you started dating Jamie, right? And you told me, and Jamie, I don't know if you know this, but this is what Pete told me. Right? The secret's about to come out. This is what Pete told me. Right? I said, like, yeah. I was like, so I asked, like, so what is it about Jamie you like about her? And he said, it's like I just get home and she's like a puppy. She's like a puppy that she just gets so excited that she just gets so excited that you're back, and I'm like, that's what I want. And I just found that so adorable.
I can literally go into the next room and she'll be, I get back and she's like a puppy. I can take the rubbish out. Right? So we
remember exactly what you said on that day.
That's funny. When we first met, we took a mini cruise. So like we took a 3-day cruise out of Southampton, and we went on the first evening on board the ship. We went for the formal dinner, and we sat down with these two older ladies, say older than us, and they were there celebrating their 10th year anniversary of being divorced from their ex-husbands. Like, what a great thing to celebrate, right? It's really positive energy. Yeah, we've been divorced 10 years. So anyways, Jamie sat there like in her innocence, and she's like, isn't he so amazing? He's just like Hugh Grant, but younger, you know, like blah, blah, and
Oh
like
my
just,
God, so cringe.
and
I
there's-
don't think I would say that now.
no,
I wouldn't do that
No.
now.
Jamie, actually, this is adorable. Like, I think like it's important for women to hear that, because we think this is cringeworthy. Men love it. Don't you love
Yeah,
it?
we love it. Yeah. So get this. So,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
Look how he was describing it. He wasn't saying like that puppy. He actually loves it. That's why like it was saying that that's what I wanted. We think, us girls, we think it's cringeworthy. They don't. They love it. That's what we've been wrong, Jamie. We have been thought wrong as women. So you should be proud. He loves it.
yeah.
And that's one of the things that I immediately loved about Jamie was that, like, you know, my mum's always said to me, like, she's like, son, you'll only be happy when you date your biggest fan. There you go. Like, she's like, that's, and then, like, the lifestyle that I had before Jamie and even now is different, and it requires, you know, someone who, if they're not your biggest fan, it's game over. It's game over. And Ick, you met my ex, and we were in Santorini, and you didn't meet me in Santorini there, but I was there, and she was like, I don't understand why you've got your laptop with you, because I was like, well, the only reason why we can be here is because of the work that I do. I got the freedom to be able to be here and to be able to pay for this trip so we can be here. And it was always having to question everything. It was just, you know, and yeah, with Jamie. So, but I want to go back to the cruise ship example. So we sat there, and Jamie's like, oh, he's like, you know, a young Hugh Grant, my Hugh Panda, whatever. And then these ladies were like, don't be too keen, because, you know, you're like, you've only been dating a couple of months, and you might scare him away. And I remember I looked at them and I was like, oh no, I love it. I love that she's that way. And they were just like, cool. But it's, you know, all this like playing it cool and all that, it's like, come on, you know, I was like mid-30s. I'm turning 40 in a few months, but like, yeah, I was like mid-30s. I've heard it all before, you know, like the girls trying to play it cool, text them, they don't text you back. You know, I have no energy for that. I don't have energy for that. You know?
This is exactly what Ig was talking about last time.
Yeah, that's the misconception. That is the misconception, and that's what exactly screws everyone up in the dating scenes. You know, it's like men are not like that.
Can I just say something? And I know this, like, the ones that are sporting toxic feminine, they might just rip my head out. But I think that kind of shit advice is given for single and better women to other women.
Yep.
I have never heard men saying that. We've been taught that it's like this, and I never heard that from a happily, you know, a woman who is in a happily relationship. That advice is only given from someone who's, you know, like single and been single for so long and so bitter, and like, sorry, but I don't think I can actually like take any advice from that. I always take it from the guys, because you guys know what you guys like. We as women, we can't tell what guys like. And every single guy, that's what I'm saying, Jamie, I think it's like, be proud. Be proud. It's important for women to hear that. Every single man says that. I love it when she's my biggest fan. I love it that when she gets so happy when she sees me. Like, and then we all just like, oh, just cool, like, let him just do that. It's like, who said that?
Yeah, it's very true.
I definitely agree with that quote. Like, what your mom said was so true, Pete. Like, I would definitely I'll be in love with a woman who's my biggest fan. I would definitely.
Yeah, you're gonna come home one day. We're gonna come home one day. I'm gonna wear a cheerleader outfit with like pom-pom
and a t-shirt.
Give me an
t-shirt that says "I love Pete." Pete.
Do that anyways. Nothing new here. Do that regardless. Yeah. The same vice versa, you know. Like, I think I show it through, like, you know, doing things. You know, like, I'm a bit more like dry sense. Jamie's always like, you got such a dry sense of humor. Like, so I do it through, you know, like acts of kindness, or like being like, let's, you know, like knowing that we've got a full load of work on, but then driving for like, you think we're driving to the office and then drive us for like a nice breakfast or whatever, and you're like, oh, a bit of me and you time, And it's like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
But equally, yeah, I think we both definitely share like how proud we are of each other, and that's important.
Yeah. For Christmas, I'm gonna buy you a T-shirt with loads of my faces on, like get printed. And you have to wear it for pajamas. And I'll get you a cushion.
Jamie, the T-shirt. Jamie, the T-shirt has to say hashtag Jamie's #1 fan.
That'd be funny. Yeah, you have to be. Like,
I think it's so important to talk about that, like the whole misconception of, how us women should actually treat men, and how it should be like to play hard to get, and those kind of things. And it's just so important to talk about these kind of things. And I think really it's important for us women to hear it from men, and then kind of like really understand it as well, and listen to it rather than arguing this is not like that, because I just find the whole thing is ridiculous, if I'm being honest.
I think as a guy, like a girl who's like that, if you're still a boy, you have not hit your mid-30s, because my belief is that any guy under the age of 35, but I was totally clueless like until like 35. That's a personal thing, by the way. It's not saying but like if I was like 28 years old and a girl was like that, it's just my ego kicked in. It became a competition. That's all it was. It was just like, and I would think that I really liked them, and I would but really it was just like just like another can I win her over? And then once I actually won her over, I'm like, okay, next. And it's not a healthy what's the word, I'm like, situation for anything to build long term. But then when I hit 35, for whatever reason, something changed. It was kind of before I met Jamie, which was good. Yeah, anytime I met a girl like that, it was just like, it just didn't even interest me. It didn't matter how great they seemingly were. It was just like, I just can't be bothered. I was quite direct. It's quite direct with, probably too direct, to be fair. Yeah, but obviously in a good way, it brought me to you. So, and you never gave me that hard time, like, and vice versa.
Do you want a hard time?
The reality is, like, life is already going to give you like shit, right? Like, why do you need to get it from your partner too? Like, you can't build something worthwhile if you're arguing over who does the dishes. Like, come on, how are we going to do that? Like, oh, let's go and build an empire. Oh, but you didn't do the dishes. You didn't take the rubbish out last night. What the hell? Seriously? Here you are trying to build, this business that's going to change the world or disrupt an industry, and you can't agree who takes the rubbish out. It's just nuts.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, just get on with it.
And like, so like, I know tonight, because I'm gonna jump off in a second, because I'm definitely feeling the lateness. But like, I know you'll sort everything out, and there's no like, oh, you need to do it in the morning. It's just, I know that Jamie knows that I go to bed earlier, and you're happy to stay up because you kind of come alive at night, and I'm go to sleep. Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, because my body's slowly adjusting to Pete's timetable. I don't work as well at night now.
You don't work really at all anymore at night, unless it's a really urgent deadline. You hate it now.
Yeah.
But before you kind of thrive on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, that's kind of like, sounds like that just made a big difference.
What's that? Sorry.
I said it's great that Jamie has actually adjusted that
over a very very long time.
Yeah, but it's okay, because it these kind of things take a long time, isn't it? Especially with sleeping habits. But she got that, and it's really good, because I can imagine that how challenging would be that if one partner just want to go to bed and the other one just want to stay up till like 6, 7 a.m.
It's like, it's one thing that we definitely agree on is like, we both sleep much better when we, like, I was reading this the other day, like people commenting about on like a thread on Instagram, and they were like, there was something saying that, what was it you sent me?
I sent to you.
It just basically said that couples who like share a bed or sleep at the same time and share a bed, they like are healthier, happier, less stressed, so on and so forth. And then a lot of couples were tagging each other, and they're like, oh, not with you. And I was just like, why are you even why in a relationship? Like, you know, the negativity in there's a few couples in there like, oh yes, that's us, blah blah blah.
It says, did you know sleeping next to someone you love makes you fall asleep faster, reduces depression, anxiety, and helps you live longer?
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Yeah.
Read the thread, like masterclass in like how not to have a relationship.
Someone said, did you know that this is all BS?
Yeah. No.
Unless they are snoring.
Yeah.
No, actually it's not. They don't. I can't remember. I think it might be John Gottman. He is the most famous and the most amazing relationship researcher like ever. And pretty much all the relationship therapists and like family therapists, they actually do study his work. And he just basically what he does, he just have couples and hundreds of couples, and he analyzes their behavior all day, every day. You were saying that accumulation of small things, and then he watches that and he points out, like he figures out basically all the small things, and that he did a research. So I might just ruin the whole thing, but basically there was an image. So basically, you know how they do this tests that like you just sit there and then you have this thing in your eye and then they show you different images. Yeah. So it's like, for example, it shows a scary image and it looks like a horrible or depressive or ugly and things like that. And then they have their like heart rates, and then they kind of like measure their body temperature. This is all pure science. It's not bullshit or like rubbish. I mean, there's nothing about rubbish about this guy. And then they show the same images where that person's partner is holding their hand.
Wow.
Completely different scenario. The body temperature, the heartbeat, and how they show the reaction, the fear they see, the kind of like heaviness when they see sadness images. It's completely different. And this is the biological thing. And it was all about that the person they love holding their hand makes a huge difference. If anybody says that touch, hug, going to bed, cuddling together, holding hands together, like going out, if they say this is not real, they can argue with science because it's just that they've done so many researches. So what they say, it's not BS, actually, it's true. Because what it does, and also like I was so fascinated, sorry, I'm just like rambling around, but there was another book, which is an amazing book. I can even actually show that. Yeah, I've got it. Like that's what I know all my books. So it's about this, like Hold Me Tight, and it's a fascinating book. And one of the, I mean, she's got PhD as well. She's all about that therapy and couples and stuff. And what she says that, for example, in orphanages, when baby is born, if babies are not being hugged, babies will survive if they haven't been fed. But they do not survive if they haven't been touched and hugged.
Wow.
Yeah, they need skin contact.
Do they?
Yeah, straight away.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why mum and dads, they go topless.
Wow,
Baby's placed on you.
Wow. Crazy.
It basically what it does, it really literally the skin to skin, that's so important for kids like babies when they're born.
That's so
Skin with mom and dad. It just helps them to calm, and it literally just reduces their heartbeat as well. This kind of like gives them calmness. And part of the attachment theory is actually links to that, how much babies spend time with their parents, especially first, because it's all about the eye contact as well. So anyone says this is bullshit, it's not, because like I said, even babies in the orphanages, like they show that they can survive without food or water. They don't survive that hug. And at one point, I think that was about maybe 5 years ago, that was on the news as well. They were saying to people like, could they go to hospitals and voluntarily cuddle babies? And obviously, like they exploded because babies were struggling. Like they didn't have their mom. So this, like when it comes to the couples, it's so important. It's not even about the love language. So you guys doing the right thing, that cuddles, going back to to bed together, like hugging each other, even just like touching your hands when you're sleeping, or just giving good night kiss. Like massive difference. No doubt about it.
I agree.
Sorry, I'm just so passionate about this. Anyone anyone trying to like kill these kind of like researchers, and I'm like, oh, do you know which book? Do you know this research? Don't argue with me. Argue with them. They all got PhD. If you don't take me seriously, take them seriously. It's just, it's true.
It's so
Yeah.
true. If Kim, if you're still listening, make sure you go and hug Kofi tonight and hug him to sleep.
Yeah.
It's highly recommended.
But it needs to be skin to skin. It is important.
Yeah.
Skin to skin is so important.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about
I
it.
think that's the difference.
I don't understand when couples sleep with clothes on, though.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Same we sleep naked. Conversations. This conversation again.
No, we're
pretty
talking
deep
about
now.
skin to skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely, like, obviously, skin to skin makes a huge difference because it really does, biologically, it does something. It just releases the
Skin to fur.
I fall asleep when Jamie goes to bed, so like I can be laying in bed like an hour by myself, and then as soon as Jamie comes to bed, I fall asleep immediately. So weird. So it's just like
what?
if Jamie's up doing things, my mind's like in bed, but also like in a weird way, like my mind's out in the living room as well. So it's kind of a weird like. So it's nice to have that, you know.
Adorable.
So
That's
okay, come to bed. But I still wake up far earlier than Jamie, like no matter what, like every single day. I mean, it's probably once in 3 years that you've been out of bed before me. Ever.
Not once.
Maybe
Let me
twice.
try, let me try.
Probably,
I did last
probably
week.
twice.
And you were like, oh, but once you're up before me.
Yeah, I don't really, because as soon as I wake up, I get up. I can't really stay in bed. It's a really weird concept, like waking up
This is you.
and staying in bed.
Yeah.
There's no delay
And then
at
you like
all.
get up.
There's no like I'm waking up. I'm just awake. It doesn't make any kind of sense for me.
I like a little lion.
No, because like my morning time's like productive. I really get excited for the morning. Like I wake
You're
up.
a
and I'm-
morning person, that's why, right? You're
Yeah.
definitely a morning person.
Yeah. Speaking
Yeah,
of that, I'm looking at the time and thinking I'm going to leave Jamie with you.
But I'm yawning now.
Oh.
I would need to go the same time because I've got clothes.
Well, I'll say this, Pete, thank you very much for being here. And Jamie,
Thank
if you're
you.
still sticking around, then that'd be
Thank
great.
you.
But if not,
Thank you.
we really do. It's a pleasure to have you both on. We've learned so much. And even that's why I've been staying quiet all night. I've been listening and just taking it all in. It's like, and I'm sure those who are listening right now, as in our audience, they're finding it very valuable. So thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah, you guys,
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
yeah, you guys been super generous. So thank you so much. Like it's been it's helpful. So thank you guys.
Thank
And
you,
Pete. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Sophie.
Thank
See you
you.
later. Bye bye.
I love them.
I am taking a tea break. I'm gonna go make myself a cup of tea. You two continue and
Jono,
answer any questions.
it's always you, Jono.
What's that? Just me and you. Whoa.
You like you just get left.
We get left behind. It's like, how does that work? Eh?
Right? I'm curious. Kim says that he kisses his teeth. How does he kiss his teeth? How do you? Is that kissing your teeth? Is that what it means? I don't know. That's weird. I can't do it. That's just weird. Like Kim, I just want you to show it. I don't how do you. I don't know. That's ridiculous. I'm just gonna look so stupid right now. I won't do it. Oh, that's Jono doing. Okay, all right. Jono, you were doing right. Lynette says, "For an intimate space." It really has been, hasn't it? Andrea says, I was just about to ask, but thought it's an English saying. No, it's not an English saying. Is it English saying? Kissing your teeth.
I don't know. I never really kissed my teeth until now. Like, this was the first time I've done it from like...
Well done. You can do it. I didn't even know how to do it.
I don't think I've done it like 20 years ago when I was like 10.
It's 20 years ago, and then you haven't kissed it since then.
It's not something I do. It's not a habit that I've done.
This feels so
Like-
weird.
Kissing your teeth is like,
It feels weird though, isn't it?
yeah, it's like I haven't done that for a long time.
uh,
I think I did it because I used to be anxious,
Mm.
maybe, but that's nothing to do with Anyway, back to love and relationships. Where are we? What an amazing couple, right? We're a power couple. Like that's
right?
the transparency is there's a few things I highlighted, which
Mm.
also was something that I have with Pauline. It was like laughter, fun, and humor, honesty and transparency, and random acts of kindness. Like those were the key ones for me.
I think for me that was a lot, you know. I think that it's the I don't want to say like separation. What would be the correct one? Help me out here, Jono. The separation of who's doing what.
The boundaries,
I don't know if it would be boundaries.
roles,
It's a specific role separation.
individual roles,
Yes, not to step.
individual roles with a common vision
Yeah, so I think
or aligned vision.
yeah, I think that's really key. So then they don't step in each other's toes, and then they just give each other like that
Well, the
freedom.
thing is, even Pete said that, right? They said he said relationship is first.
Yeah.
Like, and then business comes second, which
Yeah.
is true, right? There's always time for business, but there's never enough time for relationships. Like,
But
the
you
time-
know, like when you're young, when it's a business, when you're hungry, when you're ambitious, unless there's a reminder that it's so easy. I mean, you could say that that's so obvious. Relationship should be first, but I think it's so easy to forget. You know, to focus on business, to focus on thriving and creating and doing things.
But
So-
what most people do forget is the little things that make the relationship work in the first place.
Mm.
Like that gets left behind because it's no longer a priority.
Yeah.
So that's why when Pete said like relationship is first, then business comes second.
Yeah. So it just reminds me of that whole context of that, how important it is that to fill the, if you like, the love map or filling the love tank. So when you fill it, when, excuse my French, shit hits the fan, like you have a lot of things to do. If your tank, like love tank, is empty, then you're not going to have anything to fall back. What it's going to do is just create separation. But all this time, like with small things, consistent things, that when you fill your love tank, when shit hits the fan, then you can, you still have a full tank that you can fall back. Then you're going to be supported. And I think that's just super important as well. And no doubt, and this is something that I didn't see it of like personal in any of my relationships, but laughter, playfulness, humor, joy, oh man, like that is like, if it's not there, I'm not sure. You know, that's just super important.
Yeah, so those were the ones I highlighted anyway for what Jamie and Pete was going through, was exactly the ones that me and Pauline has been creating.
Yeah.
Like relationship first, anything else comes after.
Mm. Yeah.
Super important, especially in business. Like when you do a whole business thing, especially Pauline and I, we do separate businesses. She does her baking one, and I do my coaching on digital, leadership and training. Right, completely separate stuff, but we still want each other to win. We still support one another.
Yeah.
Still have fun along the way, right? Always about relationship first.
Yeah, sure. For sure.
So we were just dissecting Pete and Jamie's power coupleness.
learning.
Yeah, just learning like what's working for them, and what's highlighted for me was fun, laughter, humor, honestly, transparency, and random acts of kindness was a big one. Like we do a lot of random acts of service or kindness to each other, like really random. Like even making a cup of tea is one.
One thing I took away was like they even mentioned that they make sure they work in separate rooms. That's a big key right there.
Yeah.
Big key. Personal, having that personal workspace and
Mm.
not working in the same office, for example, or in the same room. Definitely a big key. Because because when I was with my ex, obviously we were working in the same room, and that didn't work for me, man. It just didn't work. It didn't work. So
God.
I can say that if we were working from two very separate rooms, it would have been a big difference. It would have been a game changer for sure. Because then the personal space and the workspace don't get mixed up.
Yes,
You know?
your space.
Yeah, because then you're in your workspace, you're in your work mode, so you don't get distracted. And then when you're out of your office and you're out from your workspace, and then now it's couple time, right? So it's like you gotta. So one thing that Pete and Jamie does very well is they separate business and relationship. It's like although they is one and the same, but like they do different things. Like they like, oh, now let's do some couple stuff, right? It's like it's not couple and business mixed together. No, it's like, no, let's just do couple stuff. Phones off, laptop down, let's do couple stuff. And then when we're working. So there's no in between. There's no playing around during work time. But then when there's couples time, there's no work involved. And I think that's the key in what they do really, really well.
And the best thing that actually start that from the beginning, make sure that it does consistently, and keep couples keeping each other accountable for that. Because it would be so easy to say, you know what, just be so busy, like we can always do it tomorrow, like not now, maybe just we'll do like a couple of hours later. So I think in that aspect is so important, is actually one wants to carry away, like Jane, in this case, like Jamie wants to carry on working, and Pete just keep it very accountable and saying, let's do that. I genuinely do think that's key as well, because it'd be so easy to not to do it.
Yeah.
So it's
not delaying the
important
stuff.
Yeah. That habit, and make sure that it's done consistently, and also like both keep each other accountable to make sure that gets done. I genuinely do think that's fundamental too.
I think that's a trap that many people fall into. It's not just even for couples. It's even for working family men who work too hard and don't have time for their own family, for the children. It's like, I'm doing all this for my family as an excuse. So they work so hard, and then one day I'll have enough money to retire. One day I can spend time with the kids. And I always keep saying to people who have newborn babies, like, your children are not going to be 3 and 4 years old for the rest of their life. You only got that period of their childhood with them during their childhood. You have to spend that time with them when they're, when they're young. You got to spend that time with them, right? You can't make up for childhood. It just doesn't work. And I believe it applies in relationship too. You can't make up for that relationship time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like, so many people, especially Asian men, I find the really hardworking Asian men, they work too hard. They work so hard, and only because they have this delayed gratification thinking, where it's like, one day I'll be able to, enjoy, or one day I'll be able to spend time with my family and loved one. And it's like, no, what's the point of working so hard? You might get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Yes, the whole concept of like, Kirsty in the house.
Hey, Kirsty.
Great evening, Kirsty.
Just want to acknowledge all the people who's here as well. So Kim is still with us. Andrea is still with us. Lynette is still with us. It's amazing that you guys are still with us. So and Michael's gone, but it was great that he was with us as well.
I got and Michael's coming on next Friday as guest.
Ooh, cool.
I have arrived. Welcome, Kirsty. You are here.
Yay!
Hope you had a lovely stream, Kirsty, on Twitch.
Oh, she's been gaming.
Yes, she's been Twitch streaming.
Nice.
You're so old for that shit. Jono, like when I come back to London, you have to show me one day, bro. I but I just want to see it. Like I just like my.
You know what? Why don't the both of us go visit Jono, and then we can both play computer games while he's Twitch and stream us play computer game live.
No, I don't know. I can't even. I'd be such an embarrassment. I think like Jono would be like, I'm not gonna call you my sister anymore. Like you know, Palma. What the fuck was this?
We're not playing for competitiveness, you know. You're not playing esports.
It's okay. I'll let you win, sis. I'll always let you win. Don't worry.
And you met me, like I never play Monopoly. The first time I played, I just throw a tantrum. Like I was so pissed because I lost all my money, and I was such a bad loser as well.
You should watch Dilara rage quit.
Just going crazy. It's like, oh, she looked really sweet. Nah, she's not like when she plays like that, it comes out of her. Because you guys love the game called Among Us. I don't even know. Like,
Yeah, Among Us is like Mafia. But you go around trying to solve puzzles or tasks around the map. So when
I love Mafia, but is it like a computer game version?
It's kind of like
it's
like an imposter. So one or two people becomes an imposter in the group. So if you, for instance, example, you have 10 people playing, 2 people are called imposters, or you can set out as many as you want. Generally, 2 people are imposters, and then the rest are crewmates. So the crewmates have to figure out who are the imposters in the group.
Yeah. So it's like Mafia. It's literally
the imposters are allowed in between during the game, can kill people, and there's a countdown.
Right.
So there's a timer about when they could take people out, the crewmates.
But is this like a live game, or is this like
it's a live game? And then each round, when someone finds a body, they report that they found a body. Then you go into this chat area where you discuss together, where was the body found? Who was it? Did you see the suspect? Did you see them in the security camera? Did you see someone run past, the color run past? Who was you with? So you interrogate each other, and you have a minute to do that interrogation for that round. Then if no one gets voted out during that round, they carry on
killing. Yeah, they carry on killing it.
They carry on killing, or they carry on trying to do tasks. And the game is crewmates win by doing all the tasks on the map, and imposters win by killing everyone when there's not enough people to vote you out.
All right, Kirsty, it's your job to plan a game for us, and we will join you. You be the host. Yeah, you be the host. We'll just let us know what time, what day. We'll join you for that. Well, so you play your own like virtually, or
what is that called? I'm gonna Google it, man. I'm just gonna look on YouTube first.
Among Us. So this is not even a lot about relationships anymore, but
yes, it is. It's all about figuring out who the bloody imposter is, you know.
Well, I normally game on my laptop, so I normally just jump on Kirsty's, or I share Kirsty's stream. My computers aren't fast enough to stream and play the games at the moment.
That's interesting. I'll definitely be interested.
But you can still join the play and play the game, and you just be on Kirsty's stream.
Okay. No, I love playing. I'm in. Yeah. You should have all 3 of us on one of your stream one day, Kirsty. It'll be fun.
Yeah, Kirsty would join you on your stream one day.
And
maybe Saturday evening or something. Saturday evenings are probably a good one.
Could be. Sometimes I have clients on Saturday, so it might be a little bit tricky.
Evenings.
Yeah, Saturday evenings I have clients.
Oh wow, okay.
I work ridiculous hours.
Sometimes though, right? Not all the time.
Yeah, not all the time, but sometimes I have it quite late actually. And yes, I have a lot of spice in me. Oh yeah. No doubt.
Saturdays when I usually do it, rubs hands.
I don't have any clients. In.
You got to watch out for Kirsty. She's a lethal one.
Just like kick my ass.
She's usually the imposter.
Just don't let Dilara be the imposter. We'll figure her out straight away.
No poker face whatsoever.
We'll
Interrogation
probably
mode.
figure her out straight away. She's too honest to be an imposter.
What you guys trying to say? Like, not have the can I?
Too readable. Sis, too readable.
Oh god.
That's why I can't date, because when I like him, he knows it. I cannot.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't hide it, but the men don't know it.
I'm like, you're so hot.
Yeah, you could be so visual, but the men won't know it until you tell them.
That's true. Like my ex. Like I was just there. Yeah, Kirsty and Jono will kill everyone. Yeah, I can totally see that, and I can see myself being total like pathetic loser, like really bad loser. They threw me a tantrum. I was like, what kind of game is that? I want to play a game. This doesn't count. No, I'll behave. I promise. I won't.
Yeah, Kirsty will arrange it. We'll jump on her stream at some point.
I will do that.
Okay, back to dissecting the relationship with the power couple. What were you talking about? You said splitting the workspace, right?
Yeah, I mean, like separating workspace. It's so important. Definitely so important. Having your own workspace, like not. I mean, my biggest takeaway, like to summarize it from that, was really, you know, they're really good at differentiating and separating business and relationship. Like, they keep it very separate, you know.
Yeah, I try to not to do any work when Pauline's around as well.
Yeah,
like because we aren't living together, I think it's easier that we have each other's, you know, creation space, right?
Yeah.
When I'm here back at home, I'm working on a business and all that. I can do what I need to do, and then she's doing what she needs to do for her baking business back at her house, you know, in her kitchen and stuff. So yeah, separate space is definitely key. But then when we spend time together, I make sure we are trying not to do as much work as possible. So at least I try and minimize it, like only essential stuff I need to do, but rest of the time we just spend together, quality time and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Kirsty says, when two people are interested but struggle with commitment and so are both unable to take the next step, so to speak, how do you handle that?
My question would be, what's there to handle? Because if both people are struggling with commitment, I'm assuming that means both partners don't want to commit. Then that kind of works out, doesn't it?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it can, right?
Yeah, because if one wants to commit, the other one didn't, then that would be a problem. But if both of them struggle with commitment, actually this could be turned into, I mean, if they do the work, this could turn into something quite healthy, because they can have incredibly honest and open conversations, and they can talk about their commitment challenges and what might be holding them back, because they both feel the same way. So that it wouldn't be extreme emotional ups and downs or insecurities or sense of rejection, because they're both struggling with the same thing. So they can hear each other. Actually, this could turn into something pretty awesome if they could be able to go there. High five, Sal.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you both are on the same page, you know, like Dilara said, the only thing that the only problem there that could arise is if one person wants the commitment, but the other person doesn't want to commit, then you have a problem. But if both partners don't really want to commit, then actually, then you're both kind of on the same page, really. So it can actually work out.
Just know what type of relationship you're in for.
Yeah, it will be short term, or it will just be a fun relationship for fun, and it'll be short-lived unless both of you happen to fall in love with one another over long term. Over long time, we don't know. Anything could happen. But as long the key word is expectation. As long as both of you are not expecting anything from one another that you're not able to commit to, then it's fine.
But you know where that I'm not sure if that would be indication of that would be something short-lived, because even like if two people, let's say, struggle with commitment, and then they have an arrangement, and they kind of like decide something like friends with benefits or F-buddy, whatever it might be. But when they are in the same place, my God, where did Jono go to? Jesus, that never happened. I'm a little bit scared now. Like, where is Jono? But like even like if it is like some sort of like a fuck buddy or something, because they're both in the same page, I don't know if it would be short term. It could be long term, and they could actually realize quite a lot of things, and it happens quite often.
Yeah.
So,
what you might find.
I don't know if it's an indication of a short term.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. What can happen is over time, one person might want something more from the other. That usually is the case. Or one person might actually fall in love with someone else. Or this arrangement that you both have might actually just go on for quite a very long time. We don't know, right? It could go both ways.
If you read it.
It's a very slow progression kind of thing for almost 2 years, and neither of us are at a point of wanting to commit, but it also feels like it's more than that at times, if that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. But it's enjoying the moment thing. Yeah, like what Lynette says above, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. It's like, Kirsty is like, as long as, are you happy? Are you enjoying yourself? Are both partners not getting hurt? That's the most important thing, and you're both enjoying it. And if the answer is yes, then there's nothing wrong, and there's nothing to expect from one another, unless you personally want something more, then that will be a different story. But if you're happy with the things it is right now, then it's fine. Like I mentioned before, like I had a FWB once upon a time myself, right? And me and that partner had this exactly same situation where we didn't want to commit. She thought she wasn't ready for a relationship. I didn't want a relationship, and it worked out for both of us at the end of the day, right? But like I said, eventually I kind of I get what you're saying, because eventually, because the thing with me is like I treated her like a girlfriend anyway. I was so cute and loving towards her that I would do things for her. I would go beyond just FWB. It was like I was treating her as if she's
You were
mine.
friends with benefits. You had a crush on her.
No, but we were but we were friends with benefit, and I didn't really have a crush on her. I wasn't in love, but I guess it's like I've always had this sense of like a manly sense where I just want to make sure that I'm also being a provider, not just I'm not just there for the fun. You see what I'm saying? And I enjoy that. That's the thing. I enjoy that. I enjoy treating her like a girlfriend. So I was exactly in the same position. It's like it felt like we were couples, but we weren't at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's like we were like couples, but we're not couples. Like officially, she could date any other guys, and I'm happy with that. I could go and date any other woman, and she's all right with that. There was nothing tying to us to say that we were together. But when we are together, I treat her extra nice, as if she's my girlfriend, and she respects me very, very much as if I'm her boyfriend. So we were like best friends as well. We were like best friends along with friends with benefits. So I totally get you. But and then she got a boyfriend. I was okay with it. So that was the end of that. So I would just say enjoy it while you can. Enjoy it if you are happy, and if you are enjoying what you are enjoying right now, then just there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. As long as two people are on the same page and then they're honest with each other,
Exactly.
like, okay, that's it. Like, that's okay. But I did have friends with benefits, and I mean, that was bullshit. He wasn't friends with benefits. He was in love with me. He said that he wanted to be in a relationship. But I'm like, no, I would only be friends with benefits. Like an idiot. I fell in love with him after that. I was like, this is rubbish. This shit doesn't work. No one movies about it. Like, that work? Like, well, we're supposed to be friends with benefits, and then you just realize, oh my god, this is so good, this is so much fun, and I just never felt close with anyone. I felt chilled, and I don't have to pretend with anything. I was like, oh, I'm in love with him. Shit.
But that's what I mean, right? Because like over time, usually when this is from the, like, it's not just my personal experience, but I have friends who have been in that kind of relationship, and usually there's always one person that falls in love. Yeah, there's always just one person.
One that falls.
There's always one that
gets
falls. So you know, you just gotta have that preparation. You have that anticipation. You gotta have that anticipation. It's like kind of like it could be you, Kirsty, or it could be him. But one of you will eventually fall.
It happens. It always happens.
And it always happens, right? Unless or you will eventually find someone that you actually fall in love with, and that will be the end of. And you just want to make sure that if that does happen, then the other person is not going to be confused and start getting jealous or whatever, you know, because sometimes we can get too what's that word? Complacent. Sometimes we can get too complacent with what we've got until it's gone. And so, like I said, you know, like when my FWB, when she started going out officially with her boyfriend, you know, I'm not gonna lie, you know, I'm not gonna deny it. You know, it bothered me. It did bother me. I started thinking about, like, shit, I should have asked her out, you know. It's like maybe she could have been my girlfriend. And so I started doubting myself, and it bothered me. It really did bother me. But then over a period of time, because I was mature enough, over a period of time, I was like, no, it's good. I'm actually genuinely happy for her, right? But not all guys can be like that, or not all girls could be like that as well. So it can go both ways. So you just gotta anticipate the worst case scenario, and which is one person might fall in love. Or
it could happen. It may not.
It could happen eventually.
It could. It just could happen. Not. There's a possibility, right? Just don't.
Yeah. Just don't rule it out. Just don't rule it out.
Be prepared for it if it does happen. That's all.
Yeah. Kirsten says, I think it's working better for me, as the more someone pushes me to date, the more I back off, and it's getting to the point I feel genuinely comfortable around them, but I'm also not ready to commit. I'm glad we're on the same page. So.
Yeah, good. As long as it works for you.
Yeah. Lynette says, it sounds like a special relationship. Each relationship comes to teach you, bring something, share something. It's like seasons, they will change. That's a beautiful way to put it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely true. I agree with that.
Yeah. Was that yours?
Lynette asked, was that my ego slightly dented? I believe it was, Lynette. I'm not going to lie. I won't deny that. I believe it was.
But damn it, it should have been me.
Yeah. I was like, how dare he take her away from me?
It's kind of way that you gave it away, but you gave her away, but
yeah. I was genuinely happy for her.
His pride was wounded. Kirsty comes with strong words.
As if that little tiny stab wasn't enough by Lynette. Now she's just gonna whack that axe on my head.
She plays the game, doesn't she? She's used to that. She just probably just with that superhero outfit standing on top of you, just like, oh, he's gonna suffer if I kill him. So he's dead.
Oh my gosh. So there is with the little time we have left, I do want to touch upon conscious dating. So I want to take this opportunity to talk about conscious dating, because it is a trend, right? It's one of those things that is trending right now. Everyone's using the term, and people are more into what they call conscious dating. And I know for a fact that, sis, you have a workshop coming as well, that you plan to do in the topic of conscious dating. So I mean, like, maybe you could talk to us about what are the current problems that people are facing that they feel like they need, to go into looking to conscious dating, for example.
Before we go into that, what is conscious dating?
Yeah, let's define conscious dating first.
Right. Let's talk about the basics first. What is conscious dating? I mean, everyone keeps throwing this word around like it's no tomorrow.
Yeah. Conscious dating is just slightly different than traditional dating. Like traditional dating, a lot of the time that most people at least, don't even have any intention. They're bored. They go to, they like, oh, like, I'm bored. It's Saturday night. We're in a lockdown. Let me just reactivate Tinder. Let me go right, left. And they have no intention of anything. They just do it for the sake of it. The only reasons that is because they're bored, or they just want to see what's out there. So there's absolutely zero intention. I mean, you can say that, you can argue with that, you can say the intention is boredom, but that's not necessarily the healthiest intention. Yeah, so like they don't even know what they're looking for. They don't even know if there's any commitment. They don't know if they're ready for a relationship. What conscious dating is, like, conscious dating is all about, dating with authenticity, dating with awareness, like a very healthy level of self-awareness and self-responsibility. So like a clarity of, and it's a, like clear intention. So basically, if I give an example, like when we do, when we're working around conscious dating, it's all about that. Am I ready for a relationship? What is it I want? It's okay. You don't have to be in a relationship, but are you ready for dating? What is it you're looking for this dating? Like what's the intention? So if the intention is going to one of the online dating apps, have crystal clear your intention, know what you're looking for. And it just, even just setting intention, have that clarity, makes a huge difference. Like in life, isn't it? For example, like you can go to the gym for the sake of it. That means that one day you're going to go 9 a.m. The next, like maybe next week, you're going to go there 6 p.m. In between, you're going to eat the burger, you're going to eat the pizza. You're not going to give a fuck. And maybe one day you're going to eat healthy. But that is no intention there. There's nothing there, because your intention really is not to lose weight. Your intention not to get fit. Your intention, you're bored and you think that you should really do it because everybody else do it. And then you just feel like maybe it can rub onto you. But it never goes anywhere. So it's exactly the same thing with when you when you do conscious dating, you clear what you're looking for, right? You know what you want. You understand your boundaries. You understand your non-negotiables, and you learn how to communicate these boundaries as well. Because I see a lot of people that in online dating, they say, I want this, I don't want that. I want this, I don't want that. I want this, I don't want that. I'm like, you just sound like, Pete was saying that, like, to-do list. It's the same thing, like, but when it comes to conscious dating, that you're authentic. Like once when you know what you want, you can clarify it. I'm going to give an example, like in the gym, for example, like, okay, so what I want to do, I want to, like for me, let's say that I want to go down to like size 6 to 8. So like what size I am at the moment, 10. Okay, so like how many kilos in between? I don't know, like 6-7 kilos, let's say, or maybe, I don't know, whatever it is, like it's a stone. So then I go to the personal trainer. I have a very open and honest conversation. I say, okay, like, this is my usual size, like this is where I get up to. So I want to lose this stone, and I want to lose this stone ideally like in this 8 weeks, and which is achievable like a week. But this is where authenticity comes. Like, I fucking love sweets, so like I always struggle. That's kind of my weakness. So how can we do that? Either I don't have sweets cravings, or maybe like we do some sort of like an exercise that where I can actually burn extra calories, so I don't feel guilty like once a week if I actually indulge and have some sweets. Do you see that? Like, I'm so aware of my body. I know what is that going to work, and I'm like, I'm actually best at when I work out in the morning. Like I'm not one of those people that I can eat 3 times a day and have 3 snacks. That's not going to work for me. Like I can eat, like I'm better in intermittent fasting, so then I can eat for example, like once a day, and I want to eat that time. So that means like I can do intermittent fasting and I can burn. But I'm communicating this with personal trainer, with somebody that I'm so aware of my body. I know what is going to work for me. I know what's going to create a challenge for me. I know my weaknesses. I know my cravings. And I'm very clear with communicating it, but I'm not demanding it. I'm just expressing it, and it comes from self-awareness. Apply the same thing to dating. No difference. You know, for example, like in conscious dating, like if it's a lot of the women, like they get the question like, do you want to get married? I don't know, with the right person. Well, yeah, that would be the answer for everybody. That's not that you're not giving me the answers. Like, do you want kids? Maybe someday with the right person. You're not giving me anything to work with. Like you're not because you don't have that clarity. There's a lot of like, yeah, maybe with the right person. Yeah, maybe. Actually, I don't know. I just want to go with the flow. I just want to see how it goes. So there's nothing there, and that happens. There's no focus, but at the same time, there's no self-awareness. For example, yes. I love the fact that, you know, when we do conscious dating, people actually do know that, you know, for example, if they have fear of rejection, they can't communicate that in text. That doesn't mean someone is actually like, this is like, if you exchange numbers with somebody in the conscious dating, you can have very open and honest but healthy conversations. It's not like you're dumping each other's traumas, but you can say that, you know, like I actually have a fear of rejection. Like I experience that a lot. So it's kind of like, even for me to ask that is a lot. So do you see the vulnerability? Do you see the openness there? But that doesn't mean that somebody is sharing their trauma. It doesn't mean that they're sharing a drama. So they tell me like what that is. Actually, it just gives me indication that how I can communicate with this person. So it's up to me that I can actually like say, actually, I do have a fear of abandonment. And then, you know, like, that's kind of like, that's my wound and I've been working about it. So the conversations that you have with those people are so much deeper. And also like in conscious dating, a lot of the people that they actually have a certain level of spiritual awareness as well. So they don't only look for physical, emotional, or a psychological connection. They actually have an intention with this spiritual connection as well. So that's kind of like what conscious dating in it, and I just give so much. Basically explain it, it would be a lot of questions. So like dating with self-awareness, authenticity, self-responsibility, and for people like looking for physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual connection with people. So that's that. So you both beginning. What's Kirsty saying? That's Kirsty, isn't it?
Kirsty, isn't it?
So laying down.
Kirsty thrown under the bus straight away.
And then Lynette says, I think I do that now because with all my years of self-development, I'm conscious. Yes, it's that. It's actually more for people that done quite a lot of spiritual work, a lot of personal development work, because I'm not saying it's impossible, but when you've done a lot of personal development, a lot of deep work, a lot of awareness work, and you kind of like do some spiritual work as well, it does becomes a little bit challenging just to date with somebody who on Friday night they just want to, you know, have a takeaway and eat Netflix, and whole weekend they want to go out and get absolutely hammered. It kind of, you start to look something more than that, you know, when you do that much work. Like you're looking for meaning, you're looking for different things. So it is for people that done a hefty amount of self-development.
It's because you're raising the consciousness and you're raising the levels, and there's no set level about where you're at with consciousness, right? It is just something that you work on and it happens.
Yeah.
You know, it is you know, it's hard to measure where you're at and all that because it's different for everyone. So yes, but when you're working on yourself, you You ask more curious questions, more quality questions, more deeper meaningful questions,
Yeah.
and more questions that most people are too afraid to answer.
Exactly. So like in the old days, like traditional dating would be like, so what's your favorite book? Or it would be like, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite color? Like, oh, okay, so what do you do over the weekends? What are your hobbies? This is kind of like this traditional kind of thing. And in the traditional
looking for common grounds, looking for commonalities.
For example, like text him this, he will fall in love with you. You know, like tell her this, she will want to marry you. You know, like wear this lipstick, do like that, and you know, play hard to get. That's conventional dating. Like conscious dating is like you just realize that, oh, this is a bullshit. Like,
well, Jamie and Pete was a great example, right? Like they're consciously wanting to, you know, have fun, to be honest, to be transparent, and to have time for themselves, right? They're constantly saying, now it's time for dating stuff. No phones, no work, no business.
Yeah.
Strictly love and relationship stuff, right? Dating couple stuff. Like they're consciously making that happen.
Yeah. But also remember, like, they're building a business together, and they're building it really, really consciously. Like they don't.
But that's always that's a choice as well, right? They chose together to build an empire together.
Yeah,
like that was set clear
as well. That's a conscious decision too. That's not for everyone to do it.
Yeah, there was a choice between the both of them to say, would you like to build it together, right? It wasn't like, I'm building it, come and join me. It's more of, should we do this together? And you know, you ride together and you do it together.
Exactly. For a lot of couples as well, like they want to do spiritual practice with somebody else as well. You know, somebody is open to certain things, whatever that could be like a plant medicine, that could be meditation, that could be like going to retreats together, that could be even going to ashram together. It could be something like believing in certain practices together, you know. So because how these people will be dating, conventional dating is like for me, it's got old-fashioned and it's boring, to be frank.
I think Lynette will be a great person to have in company when we talk about aliens with red wine. How deep can you go, Lynette?
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, for example, the one that I'm going to do, like conscious dating, which is on the 24th, is on mine. We're going to talk a lot about, for example, patterns, like relationship patterns. A lot of the people that they don't even realize that they actually have a pattern when it comes to relationships. Like, for example, I mean, Kirsty wouldn't mind because she was very honestly like and she's sharing here as well. Like last week that she shared that she, you know, like commitment is a pattern. So there's a pattern, and that patterns come from somewhere. You know, like with the conscious dating, we actually identify these patterns. You know, like we identify, for example, what is holding them back, and we talk about masculine and feminine energy. For example, there are a lot of women that they're in their intense masculine energy, and then they're looking for masculine men, but then it doesn't work because then you know those men don't want to date with other men technically, like because those men are very
turn off.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like explaining what is masculine and feminine energy. Where does it come from? Like, is there any way that they can just step into it? You can just leave it and work, and then you can actually apply it to your relationship. So some of the stuff that we'll talk about, like childhood stuff, well, basically we'll dig deep. We're going to talk about attraction and manifestation. We're going to talk about scarcity mindset and abundance mindset when it comes to the dating. You know, those beliefs that all good men are taken, or they're gay, or they're married, or all women, for example, all the women kind of that I want to marry to, they only want money, they just want rich men. So there's a lot of kind of like a beliefs there. So it's like we're gonna do some self-awareness work, basically, like some work around that as well. So it's basically identifying of all beliefs around when it comes to the dating, where they're coming from, and release them and replace them with healthy beliefs. That's what consciousness, anyway. That's what awareness is. You aware that what's been happening. It's almost like you open your eyes, you're like, fuck, you see it. Then you do the work and you just replace it with healthy things, or you just let them go completely. And you take full responsibility of your contribution of whatever that is. So, yeah.
Do you have your flyer, sis?
No, I have a link.
Well, I'm glad you're doing that, because so many people need that. You know, it's so it's such great work, and it's
I can send you a link if you want me to.
Yeah, forward me your flyer or
So
your image.
when is it happening? When is your workshop on
24th.
conscious dating?
It's on
24th. So
Yeah.
if anyone listening is interested, it will be on the 24th of November. And if you're interested, Jono will put the link down below somewhere here, and we'll be happy to share it with you later on, or just DM Jono or Dilara straight up.
Don't Dilara's got no. She's staying off Facebook, and she only comes on for this show.
Just message Jono. Just message Jono if you're interested to join Dilara's conscious dating workshop on the 24th of November.
It's too much drama.
So I'll be joining you in that workshop. That's for sure. I can't wait.
Hey.
I'll be there. What time is it?
No, but do you know what? But you know what, Jono?
6:30 p.m.
You have clients and stuff. Like, actually, they might find it beneficial, bro.
What's that?
You have clients, so that's kind of like, obviously it's not for you, but I just posted the link and flyer, if you like, but in the group WhatsApp. But Jono, like for you, like because you work with clients as well, female clients or male clients, and sometimes like when you dig deep with them, you might just find it beneficial as well.
Of course, that's why I'm talking about it.
Yeah, because what I love. What I love about it is like the nature of it is self-awareness work. So that's always important. Always important.
Yeah.
So 3:30 to 6:30. Oh,
no,
just
6:30 till 9:30. Does it say 3:30?
It says 3:30 for me. Is it because you're setting your time and not the UK time?
But it showed it in the wrong time over here. No, it's wrong, bro.
So on the UK time, it says 3:30 to 6:30.
No, I need to change that. That might be an impact at why it hasn't actually. Because when I look at it, I see 6:30.
Yeah, it says 3:30 to 6:30 on the UK one.
Yeah. Okay, so what
so just so to clarify for those who are listening, it's 6:30 on the 24th of November. Anyone who's interested, and just DM Jono. Jono will drop the link over to you if you are interested.
That's right. I got the link. Here it is. There's the link. Ta-da.
Yeah. What I do then, I will send you guys the meetup link as well, because here, like everything, it shows me 6:30 and 9:30. Because the meetup, if it's wrong, and as well as Eventbrite, then probably
just send it to us and we'll check it for you.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's that. Awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah, Kirsten, if you can be there, I think you would really enjoy it. Then it says, what's the aim for the workshop? Well, it's all about conscious dating, to give the awareness and what people expect from a dating, and to kind of like identify what could be the resistance and blockages, and to get clarity of what is it they're looking for. So that's basically the aim of the workshop. It is because so many people are struggling when it comes to dating. And one of the things that recent years that I've become really good is actually manifestation, and it's attraction, if you like, and it's just all about just a belief system. So it's kind of, I'm going to share things around that as well. Okay, mate. See you guys there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've rounded off nicely. Just about 3 hours. So just not 4 hours instead.
Yeah. So unless anyone else have any questions for Dilara or for Jono or for myself,
I keep.
I'm just here to banter. You know, I'm just here to keep everyone entertained. But if not, I think tonight's been a good night, especially when we had a special guest with Pete and Jamie. It's been fun to have them.
Kirsty, I think that's just hormones. I think that's just normal hormones. But...
Come on, you
Kirsty, I love you, Kirsty. Don't stop being you, okay? Never stop being you. I love you. I love you so much. You're so fun to be with.
For sure.
It's been a long lockdown.
It just started, girlfriend. You just need to calm down a little bit. A little bit longer.
Yeah. You know, that's the advantage Kirsty has. You know, she can just tell people that she wants sex and it works for him. Imagine a guy saying that to a girl. It's like, I just want sex. And like, yeah, we're not going to get very far.
Yeah, I think you guys would have a
you know, you got an advantage, Kirsty. That's something I can't use.
It would be a very different reaction comparing to Kirsty's.
Oh gosh.
Right.
You know what, sis, you know what I've always wanted to try out just for fun one day. Just for fun. How you doing? I've always wanted to try a Joey, you know, like just for fun, not expecting anything, but like just to see how far I'll get when you just approach a random girl and just like, how you doing? Oh
So
god.
Kirsty says, do you know any guys like that? Can I have their number?
No, you guys don't have their number. Don't worry, I'm going to have a lot of numbers in your inbox.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend them over to you because I would be scared.
Yeah, not sure if I would do that either.
Yeah. I don't want to be the cause of any concern, you know. Oh gosh. Well, I don't think anyone else got any questions for us, so thank you very much all, and I think I will be out now. It's late, so great job, guys. Great job tonight.
It's late for Dilara. What are you on about late?
What you're talking about? Like it's 3:30 here, bro.
So for those,
thank you very much, sis. Thank you for your time again, once again. Thank you.
As always, bro. Pleasure.
For those watching. 25th of November, Conscious Dating Workshop with Dilara Titek. 24th.
Does it say 25th as well?
Okay, it's 24th then, my bad. 24th of November.
This is like a horrible wrong.
6:30 to 9:30 p.m. Sorry, I had the wrong date. I was looking at the wrong date. I had the Thank you all for tuning in. Much appreciated. Thank you for your love and support. If you have any questions for next Friday's love and relationship, make sure to pop it in the comments in my posts and let us know. Otherwise, have a lovely weekend, and I will see you all on Wednesday's late chat show. And peace out. That's it.
Good night.